Another big week of Scottish football, and it's the Edinburgh Derby now on BBC One Scotland with Dougie Donnelly.
Edinburgh Castle silhouetted against a clear blue sky this afternoon, an appropriate backdrop for the second Edinburgh Derby of the season. It's one of the oldest football rivalries in the world. It dates back to 1875, and in recent years it's provided some superb entertainment. It's live from Tynecastle this afternoon, Hearts against Hibs. Hello again. The Amsterdam hangover hasn't cleared yet and probably won't for some time yet, but at least it was good to get out in the fresh air this weekend. Football carries on, and we've got a highly competitive carry-on taking place in the West End of Edinburgh this afternoon. We're looking forward to it. My studio guests certainly are, Scott Booth and Gordon Smith. They'll have plenty to say, I'm quite sure, about the big match, and no doubt you will as well. You always do, not just on today's match, but on any football topic that's caught your attention this week. Text us or email us. We'll look forward to hearing from you. But the first item on the agenda, as always, is team news. So let's get straight to Tynecastle and the latest from Robin Sandy.
Afternoon, Dougie. Afternoon, everyone. The last Edinburgh Derby here at Tynecastle ended 4 each. It would take somebody very brave or very foolish to predict what's going to happen. Are you feeling brave or foolish?
Both. But this game is so unpredictable, Rob, as you say. Lots of goals in the last 2 occasions here at Tynecastle between the teams, and hopefully it'll be the same today. Very competitive, 2 good teams, and I think we're in for a good game. OK, let's have a look at those 2 good teams then. Firstly, it's Hearts. No Phil Stamp, he's suspended. No Scott Severin, a groin injury keeps him out. 4 changes from the team which won at Aberdeen a fortnight ago. Austin McCann drops out. Andy Webster and Dennis Wyness demoted to the bench. Back comes Robbie Nielsen at right back, and Neil McFarlane, Patrick Kisnorbo and Jean-Louis Valois all into the midfield. And a first Edinburgh derby for Craig Gordon in goals.
We're having a look at goalkeepers today, Rob, and Craig Gordon is one of the many very talented young Scottish players coming through the ranks. He's still very young as a goalkeeper, but I tell you what, it's a marvellously mature performance, especially the one recently in Bordeaux.
A lot of young talent about this Hibs team as well. It's the same side which grabbed a late equaliser in the last match against Dundee United. 2 teenagers occupy the wide positions. Scott Brown, who's 18, and 19-year-old Kevin Thompson. 2 20-year-olds up front, Gary O'Connor and Derek Reardon. And goalkeeper Daniel Anderson has extended his Hibs contract till the end of the season.
Anderson's done well. I think he's convinced Bobby Williamson that he's now first choice at Easter Road. But today he can expect to be busy. Hearts, I'm sure, will be going all out to score as many goals as possible. But in the last derby game, he had a first-class game, had a shutout, and I'm sure the Big Swede will be trying to do the same thing today.
The second Edinburgh derby of the season coming your way.
Thanks, fellas. Hibs looking for their first victory at Tynecastle since the last month of last century. Sounds like a long time ago. It's actually only 6 visits, December 1999. But it's a young Hibs team today, Gordon, isn't it?
Well, I think their average age will be younger than Hearts, definitely. Hearts are probably more experienced throughout the side. They don't have any teenagers, that's for sure, on their side. So Hibs are bringing through 3 or 4 players at the moment, and it may be just because of their financial situation they're having to blood the youngsters, but it's good to see, and I say it will be a test for them because Hearts are a strong side at the moment.
Yeah, they're looking a bit more solid defensively, Hibs, although they'll miss Roland Edge today. He's not made it.
That's right. Yeah, they are looking a bit better that way, and I mean they've got the benefit of having had a win over Hearts already, so they were looking to try and emulate that again and win this game. But I think it'll be hard for them. I think Hearts are a team that are capable of producing a better performance than they did at Easter Road, and I would imagine with home advantage, although they're without a couple of players, without a driving force, a Stamp, and Severin's not available either. But I think all in all they'll get more quality about them, Hearts. So I think if you're looking at the 2 sides, you would say that they're slightly ahead.
Yeah, it is a solid looking Hearts side, Scott, obviously, but these 2 players that Gordon mentioned are a big miss for them, Severin and Stamp. They're the engine room in midfield, really.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're a strong team, they're a very physical team, but I think, the loss of Severin today is going to hinder them, because he played against us 2 weeks ago up the road there, and he's a really strong player. He gets on the ball, he dictates a lot of the play for them, and they're going to miss him today.
Who would your hunch be? A home win, or can you see Hibs making it 2-2?
I think it'll be a home win. Yeah, I really do. I think there'll be a lot of problems from the last game carried on at this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the kind of reshuffled Hearts team can compete against a I think a Hibs team that are starting to come into it a wee bit. Three games without defeat, so yeah, it'll be a good game.
Well, we do love a derby. Kick-off is at 3 o'clock, but meantime we'll begin a roundup of the weekend's SPL matches at Tannadice. A lunchtime kick-off for Dundee United against Celtic. Dundee United were still without Charlie Miller. He's been out now since the end of September. So Ian McCall went with Billy Dodds in his new role behind the front two of Andy McLaren and Jim McIntyre. They were chasing their first home win of the season, United, and of course revenge for that 5-0 defeat at Celtic Park. Celtic gave Jackie McNamara and John Hartson a break after their fruitless international efforts in midweek. Johan Mjällby and Alan Thompson were back, with Magnus Hedman preferred to Rab Douglas in goal. Celtic had scored 19 goals in their previous 4 SPL matches. Keeping a note of yesterday's was referee Kenny Clark.
McLaren drives it in, away by Petrov. Return towards McLaren again, gets another opportunity, up jumps McIntyre, it breaks to the back post. Dodds knocks it in, but the goal won't count. The whistle had already sounded. Didn't seem too much in it. And Dundee United may find that they were harshly dealt with. And Sutton in this sliding. Chris Sutton picks up, takes advantage, and finishes well. Celtic in front after 33 minutes. Petrov swings it in. It's Henrik Larsson. He just got half a yard there to get the header in. Celtic are 2-0 up. Wilson. Well, an off the ball incident there involving Larsson and Dodds. Martin O'Neill's out at the edge of his technical area, incensed. Well, there was a collision. Dodds certainly put the shoulder into Larsson there as they stood up to one another. There's obviously words exchanged. Larsson hooking one in. Paul Gallagher under pressure, and Sutton knocks it in. 2 for Chris Sutton, 3 for Celtic, and the 3 points are in the bag. Mjällby, Petrov getting a touch, lovely play from Celtic. Now Larsson steadies himself. What a goal from Henrik Larsson. Gallagher did well to get a touch on that. But there's no denying Larsson when he's in this kind of form. Second of the afternoon for the Celtic striker. He saw there was nothing else on. Fired it in from 22 yards range. And too much power for Gallagher. Dundee United haven't won a league game at Tannadice for 8 months, and that run is continuing. Here's McIntyre though, taking advantage of a slip from Didier Agathe, and the deflection takes it beyond Rab Douglas. There is nothing more than a consolation at this stage. Agathe got into a Fanko, and it was fired in by McIntyre, came off Mjällby, and that's what took it beyond Rab Douglas. Sutton. Chris Sutton, down he goes, penalty's given. Archibald was the offender. He did certainly catch him. Right on the line, I think. The referee says inside. And it's a penalty to Celtic. And Chris Sutton has the opportunity to score from the spot again. Sutton against Gallagher. Sutton scores. It's his 4th penalty of the season, and that completes his hat-trick. Fine penalty from Chris Sutton. 5-1 to Celtic.
I thought first half, I thought we were a bit stodgy, and Dundee United were very vibrant. Nearly didn't get that word out, and it was going to be hard for us. As I think I mentioned before the game, I was concerned, a fortnight away from international duty, things like that. But Chris scored a great goal for us just before half-time, settled everyone down, and I thought second half we played wonderfully well.
It was the second half that turned you over with the opening of the half.
Yeah,
three goals,
and you know, you get Chris Sutton and Henrik Larsson, and Henrik Larsson particularly, he's world class. You know, he's involved in a couple of things today we're not happy about, but he's an excellent footballer, no doubt about that.
John Barnes, our man at Tannadice. So, just about 40 minutes later, Rangers are once again playing catch-up, 8 points behind. They were without the flu victim, Zura Kizhnashvili, and Nuno Capuccio. So it was yet another reshuffle for Alex McLeish as Rangers sought to close that gap on Celtic. Moore, De Boer, Nerlinger and Thompson all still missing from the champions. Aberdeen, of course, were 4 games without a point or indeed a goal, and they were without the suspended David Zudrilic and Steve Tosh. Defenders Xander Diamond and Scott Morrison are both just 18, and our studio guest today was joined up front by the ex-Clyde striker Lee Hines. Don's 12 years now without a win at Ibrox. The referee, Willie Young. Commentary from Rob McLean.
Booth working it on, intended for Eric Dillamo, but good backtracking from Hughes. Vanoli under pressure from Booth. Aggressive play from Booth, wins it for Aberdeen. Now Lee Hines survives the challenge, of ball right into the danger area. Confusion in the Rangers defence. Aberdeen asking questions. Michael Ball for Michael Knowles. Great save, David Priest. How did he do that? It looked for a moment there as if Rangers might have had a penalty, with Knowles being held back by Diamond. But what a reaction from Priest. Really far too much time on the ball, Emerson. He gets a free kick, but there is a lack of urgency. Arteta's efforts, clatters back off the upright. I think David Priest got a touch to that as well. A step over from Marvelata, gets it back from Moles. A chance right at the start of the second half, and it was a big chance for Chris Burke to score just 2 minutes after coming on as a half-time sub, a fraction away from connecting. Alison Booth, good layoff, first time to Dillamo. Turning back into trouble, keeping possession though. Now Anderson, dallied on the ball. Avaladze, stopped by Xander Diamond. Was that a last man challenge? Yes, it was. 18-year-old Xander Diamond sent off. Michael Ball just wide. Struck it well, and a fraction away from hitting the target. Chris Burke has a chance to create. What a glorious opportunity missed. The cutback fails to find either Knowles or Arveladze, with the goal gaping in front of them. Headed away by Vanoli. Delamo's there. And again, works it through to Lee Hines. Shooting chance for Hines. Saved by Stefan Klos. The Rangers supporters frustrated at the lack of a breakthrough at the other end, but there was a chance there for Aberdeen. 15 minutes left. Avaladze's corner. Ostenstadt was there. Avalanche, a chance to create. Stephen Hughes! Rangers have scored! The goal they so desperately wanted. It's Stephen Hughes' first goal of the season, and it has Rangers ahead, finally, against Aberdeen. Back to Moles. Chris Burke. Great skills, Chris Burke. Strong on the ball too. What a bad cross was it? And only David Priest kicked out shot at Avalanche. Terrific play from Burke. Avalanche thought his header was a scorer. 1-2 between Austinstadt and Avalanche. Now Moles. Chris Burke. Great ball in again. Peter Lovenkrantz makes it too. Chris Burke has brought Rangers to life, and Stephen Hughes, of course, scored the first goal. This time Lovenkrantz, 2-0, game over. Great turn by Michael Moles, fumbled away by David Priest, and Lovenkrantz has struck twice in 2 minutes, and you feel for David Priest. He's pulled off a string of superb saves in the match. That time he couldn't hold it.
If I had to have one criticism, it was the fact that the 3 goals came for crosses, and we didn't defend the crosses too well. But it'd have been interesting to see if we'd kept 11 on the park.
We had to try and stretch Aberdeen, and in the second half, and we did that, and Burkey made a tremendous impact immediately, with balls fired across the face of the goal, and he was very nearly on the end of one, I think, from Peter or Vanoli, I'm not sure, but the wee fella certainly brightened things up and gave the crowd something to cheer.
I thought I did well. I came on and shot us, got the ball straight away and put it across the face, and I should have scored, but I gave a lift with the fans, and it gave us a lift, and we won the game.
Yes, he played an important role yesterday, Chris Burke. Let's take a look at the top of the Bank of Scotland Premier League. It's pretty much as you were, still 5 points between Celtic and Rangers at the top of the table. But Scott Booth, you put in a pretty good shift yesterday afternoon, you had to. And for 77 minutes, you looked as if Aberdeen might just get something out of that.
Yeah, it was sad really for us, because we did really well. I thought we played really well in the first half. We held the ball up when it was on to do that, and we kind of frustrated Rangers for most of the game. And I think we thought, yeah, we're just going to sneak that point. We're going to sneak that point. But with 10 men against Rangers, it's going to be really difficult.
Was that, in a sense, the key moment to going down to 10 men after the signing?
Yeah, it was, for a couple of reasons. Not just because you're down to 10 men, but also because we lost Xana Diamond, who's a fantastic young prospect for us. In fact, we've got a lot of good things to take out of the game. We've got Scott Morrison played left back yesterday, a young player, did really, really well. I said Xana Diamond as well, but also Scott Muirhead. And lastly, I thought David Priest was brilliant yesterday, and he still loses 3 goals, so can never win.
Yeah, that's a would be a goalkeeper. On the other hand, Rangers perhaps made very hard work, and in the end the scoreline flatters them perhaps, Gordon, but Celtic on the other hand, that's what, 4 5s and a 4 in their last 5 matches, I think it is.
Yeah, the high scoring at the moment, Celtic. I mean, they're getting goals, and I saw one of the emails saying there that it's like from scoring from different positions. You'd have to convince me of that one. It seems to be Henrik Larsson and Chris Sutton at the moment that's getting all the goals. But I think that they're scoring even with less chances than Rangers. If you actually look at the stats from yesterday, you see Rangers, I think, had 12 shots on target and get 3 goals. Celtic, 9 shots on target and get 5. And that has been the case over the last few games. With less opportunities, Celtic are scoring, and that's basically, it has been Rangers' problem. But I think they've got a big lift with young Chris Burke coming in yesterday. That's what they need, some good wing play like that. He's a good prospect, and I think with him coming through on the side, he could create a lot of chances. Yeah, 2 huge matches, of course, to come in midweek for both Celtic and Rangers in the Champions League, and injury worries for both, in fact. Magnus Hedman missed out yesterday. He was replaced at half-time. Rob Douglas came in. How did Rob Douglas look to you yesterday, Gordon? Confidence at all shaken by Wednesday's No,
experience?
it didn't seem to be. He had no chance to go. It was a deflection anyway, and it was probably good that he got some time in it. If Hedman had got injured late in the game, then Rob Douglas's next game after the the Holland match, we'd obviously been having to play in a Champions League game. So I think he's probably used yesterday's 45 minutes to get over it.
On the other hand, we hear that Mikel Arteta will definitely miss Rangers' visit to Stuttgart. This is how the injury happened. He takes the corner and then just goes down. Seems to be a calf muscle injury perhaps, but Alex McLeish said today, we have taken Mikel for a scan. We won't have the results till tomorrow, but it is already certain he will miss the match on Wednesday. And Rangers' injury troubles just seem to continue, Scott, don't they? That's a real blow.
He'll be sorely missed. He's a fantastic player, and he just pulls the strings for Rangers. So, yeah, he'll be missed. I don't know what exactly it was that happened there. It looked like as he sprung up there, it was his calf that went, or his Achilles tendon. But hopefully it won't be his Achilles tendon. That could be a long time. It
would indeed. But more problems for Alex McLeish. Those two matches, of course, you can hear on Sports Sound on Radio Scotland. Celtic Bayern on Tuesday night from 7:15. Stuttgart Rangers Wednesday night at 7:15. Naturally, we wish both very well. Hearts Hibs, our big match this afternoon. Kick-off time at 3 o'clock. Before then, let's bring you another two of yesterday's Bank of Scotland SPL matches. The games at Fir Park and at Fir Hill with Dougie Vipond and Cerridon Idson.
The early signs didn't bode well for Livingston when an accidental collision deprived them of midfielder Brian Kerr inside the first 10 minutes. A suspected broken leg means he won't play again until the new year. Then it went from bad to worse for Livy when Motherwell took the lead with a truly special goal. David Clarkson will struggle to hit a football any sweeter. This his third of the season, proving beyond all doubt that there is life after James McFadden. Livingston had a good goal of their own up their sleeves though, the equaliser all about the quality of the build-up as well as the power and accuracy of David Lilley's final shot. One each, 5 minutes before half-time, and Lilley happy to celebrate his 7th goal of a highly productive season so far. Not much to shout about in the second half. There was a Lee Mako free kick for Livingston, and an even better set piece at the other end from Stephen Hamill. A terrific hit from the defender, and an equally good save from Roddy McKenzie. And then we come to the goal that never was. We thought referee John Underhill had played the advantage when Stephen Craig and Rubio got hold of each other's shirts, allowing Alex Burns to score from the cross. The linesman, however, said foul to Livingston. Seemed 6 of one and half a dozen of the other to me.
Whilst we're disappointed to drop 2 points from a home game, we're also delighted that it just keeps us moving along, and it's now 6 matches unbeaten, and you know, the lads fought hard today to keep that unbeaten run going.
And it probably didn't turn out to be the free-flowing game maybe people anticipated before. It was always going to be a hard-fought game, which it was from both teams' point of view. What you saw today was that, plus a wonder goal from the boy Clarkson.
Partick Thistle have not won a league match since the final day of last season, but they began this particular goal fest in impressive style. 18 minutes in, they were 1-up thanks to a Milne and Howie combination and a fine finish from Jamie Mitchell. Francois de Bordeaux, not slow, but not fast enough to keep this one out. David Rowson had to be substituted for Partick Thistle. Stuart Taylor came on, and the first thing he saw in the match was Kilmarnock getting the equaliser. Kenny Arthur's leap was acrobatic enough, but Colin Nish's looping header made it 1-1. 6 minutes into the second half, and Partick Thistle had major reason to complain. Watch this and expect to be confused. Dougie McDonnell says this wasn't a goal or a penalty. Eventually. Have a look again. Seems to strike a Partick Thistle hand here, then a Kilmarnock hand here. McDonnell points to the spot here. Thistle score here. So you expect A, Partick Thistle get a goal, B, Partick Thistle get a penalty, but in reality they get C, a reason to defend. Killie went 2-1 up on the hour, and again Colin Nish was involved. His knockback sat up for Gary McDonnell to stretch out everything he had, and the ball ended up in the back of the net. Stevie Murray's cross initially set the goal in motion. McDonald with a fine finish indeed. But McDonald's next and Killie's third was as precocious as it was dynamic from a Stevie Fulton free kick. Everybody fooled, and it looked like Kilmarnock were home and dry. But Partick Thistle liked their corners and may have been denied at the start of the second half, but they got themselves right back into the match half an hour after that first incident. James Grady showing lovely control on his chest, and the finish was equally lovely.
What wasn't lovely, however, was Partick Thistle's defending right at the end of the game. You throw yourself a lifeline and the last thing you want to do is leave yourself totally exposed at the back. Well, that's what they did, and all the points were Kilmarnock bound. A double for Gary MacDonald then, a double for Colin Nish, meaning double delight for Jim Jeffries.
We're really pleased. It's not just 3 good points for us, but it was a good performance today, and that pleases me.
What we're asking guys today is go and perform. We need 10 or 11 outfield players performing to the best of their ability. Today we didn't get that once again.
Thistle still looking for the first win. One more match to come, of course, Dunfermline against Dundee. That's at half-time. But let's begin to turn our attention to the big match at Tynecastle then. It's Hearts against Hibs this afternoon. Big week for Hearts. 2 sellout crowds in the crowd today. There's Darren Jackson doing a deal, obviously. Man who played for both clubs. The Hearts fans looking forward to today's match against Hibs, and then, of course, Thursday night against Bordeaux. And I'll bet you Craig Levine is as well.
Craig, it's the start of a huge week for you, but I'm guessing at this stage you want to put the game against Bordeaux to the back of your mind.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't spoken about it as yet, and certainly we won't be speaking about it between now and kick-off time.
Yeah, thrilling times and for Hearts over the last few weeks, but it's great the way the entertainment value we've had from the Hearts Hibs derbies over the last few games. I presume you can keep it that way.
Well, we'll be trying to. I think the most important thing for the players, myself and the supporters is to win. So we'll be trying to do that first and foremost. And if it's anything like the other games that the BBC have been lucky enough to show, then I'm sure that everybody will be in for great entertainment today.
Yeah, we had great fun. I was trying to get you to talk about Bordeaux, but I mean, there's no chance of the players having their minds set on other things. This is important, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this game is arguably just as important for us, for our supporters especially. And we haven't spoken about it, and there are places available for the starting lineup against Bordeaux. So I think everybody knows that, and they'll be doing their best today.
Just a brief word about the defence. Young Craig Gordon and Presley both starting the game today, I presume. A great combination they're turning out to be.
Well, Craig's only played a handful of games, and he is a good prospect. But he's still a young lad, and he's got a lot to learn. This will be a test for him today. It's a different type of game to any other game that he's been involved in. But I have confidence, and that's why he's in the starting lineup.
Thanks, Craig.
Cheers.
Craig Levine. We'll hear from Bobby Williamson in a moment, but let's pick out a couple of the players who may well be key to the outcome of this afternoon's derby. Both young strikers, in fact, both players, one assumes with a real future in the game. Andy Kirk, firstly, for the Jambos. What do you think of him, Gordon?
Well, he wasn't featuring at the start of the season because he'd brought in Winus, but since he's got his chance, he started to rattle in the goals. I think he's got 7 goals in 4 games. I think he's still disputing one of his goals with Mark de Vries, but he certainly is a finisher, Andy Kirk. He's got a bit of pace, he likes to get in the box, and he scores different types of goals, bread and butter goals. This is an example of it, and also ones that are a bit more spectacular.
Yeah, I think it's he's the kind of player that you want to be playing around de Vries. He's perfect foil for de Vries. I think Winus is slightly less quick off the mark and around the box, and as you see there, that's a great finish.
Yeah, he really buzzes around, doesn't he? So Andy Kirk will certainly be looking to keep his sequence of goals continuing. But then again, Scott Brown is just 18 years old, and he looks a real prospect, Gordon, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He makes Andy Kirk actually seem like a veteran. And he's only 18 years of age. He's been scoring goals recently for Scotland, playing as a striker for the Scottish under-19 side. But Hibs have been using him in various positions, not only right up front, but just coming from slightly deeper, and he's certainly a goal scorer as well. He's a very good finisher, seems to have loads of confidence, and he'll be a danger to Hearts today.
We're always talking about a lack of Scottish prospects, but I think if you really look at it now in the Premier League, we've got a lot of good young players, and I mean, that's a fantastic strike.
That's as good a goal as I've seen this season, I think, actually. What a strike that was.
Yeah, I think it'll be important coming in from right-hand side and maybe doing that again today.
You thought maybe as well, Scott, that they might just play him in behind the strikers. They've got 2 young strikers in O'Connor and Reardon, but they might just play Scott in behind him and Scott Brown just behind him to make it difficult for Hearts to pick him up.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that would cause Hearts a problem today, because as you can see there, he's got a great strike from around the box. He can obviously play as a striker as well, play wide on the right. I think he'll be very comfortable behind Reardon and O'Connor.
We shall see very shortly. Kick-off time approaching. The man of the match could be one of those two players, and if you think it will be, then give us a call. Your prediction as to Sandy Clark's choice. You could win yourself his jersey. You could win a family match day out at a ground of your choice, or you could win the new game for PlayStation 2, Pro Evolution Soccer 3. A must-have for Christmas. 09011 110 861. 09011 110 861 if you'd like to predict this afternoon's man of the match. All right, we've heard from Craig Levein then. Bobby Williamson at last has got a victory as Hibs manager in the Edinburgh Derby. He'd love to make it too. Here he is talking to Chick.
Bobby, you come into this match as a winning Edinburgh Derby manager, but you know that Hearts are flying a bit at the moment, aren't they?
That's certainly not been taken into consideration. That game was played a long time ago, it seems now. But this game's upon us. Hearts have been getting results recently. We've picked up a few draws recently. And there's no favourites going into these games, although some suggest that Hearts are because they're at home. But as I say, we'll go into it with good spirit and hopefully get a result to please our fans.
Much has happened since the last Edinburgh Derby. I have to ask you actually about this contract. Have you put pen to paper yet?
You can ask, but I'm not going to answer it. We'll just talk about the game today if you don't mind.
You don't feel any of that's hanging over the game?
I don't think it should do. As I said, I'm only concentrating on football matters, and that's the way it should be, and I'm focused on that. I'm focused on getting the team prepared for winning this derby match.
So if you win this match, if I get permission to ask you after the game?
You can ask me after the game, I'll give you the same answer.
Okay, into personnel, I mean, despite all that, and you've had since the story's all broke about yourself, it's been up and down for you, hasn't it?
It's up and down all the time. That's the way football is for teams like Hibs and Hearts at this moment in time. Hearts have been a bit more consistent over the last couple of years, but for Hibs it's going to be a bit like that. We've got a lot of kids coming through, and you will get inconsistent performances. But it's up to us to try and instill in them that experience that they're lacking, to get them through matches and start winning games on a regular basis, and that's what I aim.
Thanks, Bobby.
Cheers, Jack.
So less than 5 minutes to go until kick-off time then in the Edinburgh Derby. Last time round it produced a heady mixture of near things, red cards and last-minute winners.
I'm feeling all messed up. I have a voice inside my head. It says turn to the left, then it says turn to the right. Don't want to bring you down, but I am really needing God. It's a red card. Red dribbler sent off. I'm going crazy. I've never felt so low. I want to turn and run. We've got to find a place to go. So when you're feeling kind of mixed up, just remember it's a mixed up world. And if you're feeling life is just too tough,
Has surely won the Edinburgh Derby right to the death.
A 90th minute winner back in August. The mixture pretty much the same today, we would hope. It's Hearts against Hibs. Let's get straight to Tynecastle and our commentary team, Sandy Clark and Rob McLean.
BBC cameras at Tynecastle twice in 5 days. The second Edinburgh Derby of the season, to be followed by a golden chance of reaching the third round of the UEFA Cup on Thursday night here. A sellout crowd for the visit of Bordeaux, and a full house here as well today, with revenge the Hearts' requirement after losing the first derby of the season back in August. If you weren't with us right at the top of the show, let's refresh as far as the teams go. No Phil Stamp for Hearts, suspended. No Scott Severin, injured. 4 changes from the team which won at Aberdeen 2 weeks back. Austin McCann drops out. Andy Webster and Dennis Wyness on the bench. Back in comes Robbie Nielsen at right back. He was injured in Bordeaux. Neil McFarlane, Patrick Kisnorbo and Jean-Louis Valois all introduced to the midfield.
It's a normal 4-4-2 for Hearts today, but I just wonder how much of a gamble Craig Levein's taken with Stephen Pressley. He's seen a lot of games recently, but he's so important to the home club. That's why he's in there today. Also in the middle of the park, Patrick Kisnorbo. He played very well in Bordeaux, playing the holding midfield role. Looks set to play that position as well. And up front, I think that's the best partnership for Hearts. Mark de Vries always in the team, big target man, and Andy Kirk round the bell, very quick going over the top. Gets a little flickers from de Vries, and they could be very dangerous to have defenders today.
You've just heard Bobby Williamson bemoaning a lack of consistency about Hibs results. Well, there is continuity, at least in the team selection, because it's the same side which grabbed the late equaliser against Dundee United in their last match 2 weeks ago. 2 teenagers out wide in Scott Brown, 18, and Kevin Thompson, 19. 2 20-year-olds up front. in Gary O'Connor and Derek Reardon, who've got 10 goals between them so far this season.
It's a very young Hibs team, but they've got loads of experience when you look at the back four there. And also in the central midfield area, Grant Bremner and Ian Murray, they'll be solid, they'll work hard and try to make sure they do things right. And I'm looking forward to seeing young Scott Brown. We think he'll play down the right-hand side, but he certainly will get up to support O'Connor and Reardon. And those three are very young, very talented, and all capable of putting the ball in the back of the net.
Well, we've spoken about Hearts' requirements here as far as Hibs go. Well, a little bit of consistency would do them fine. They won their first 2 league games, Hibs. They've won only 2 of the last 10. Maybe a fact reflected by the expression on Daniel Anderson's face there. The Hibs goalkeeper, the players gathering in the tunnel. It's high tension and high security as well around Tynecastle. One hopes we'll not be reporting anything to do with crowd trouble afterwards, but security officials very watchful as to what might happen afterwards. Sandy mentioned Stephen Presley. Don't know if he's going to smile for us to show how many missing teeth there are, but he lost a couple during the week in Amsterdam. He lost more than a couple of teeth, it could be said, but he's never one to hide, the Hearts skipper, even behind the mascot. And he's where he would want to be this afternoon in central defence. Grant Bremner, we saw him in that little montage being shown a red card by Stuart Dougal in the first derby of the season, wrongfully of course, and that was later rescinded. His contract's up at the end of the season. Chick was talking with Bobby Williamson about his deal. An air of uncertainty hanging over Bremner as well. Craig Gordon, 20 years of age, first Edinburgh derby, 6th successive game in the top team. Big match, and he's well equipped to handle it, isn't he? Hugh Dallas. At Easter Road in August, Gary O'Connor's late winner. How will it go in the second derby of the campaign? Hearts with 5 wins on the trot, a rich vein of form, wins against Partick Thistle, Livingston and Aberdeen in the league. As Mark de Vries stretches to try to pull that back from the byline, not quite.
He's unlucky, Mark de Vries there. Shows great strength. Not wanting to give things up, but the ball just rolling out the field of play.
I mentioned those 3 league wins for Hearts. Also, they've beaten Falkirk in the CIS Cup. And who would forget Bordeaux in the UEFA Cup in France. What a victory that was. And that bolsters the belief Hearts have that they're getting places. Mark de Vries got his 9th goal of the season in Bordeaux, tapping the ball in from close range. How vital that might prove to be. Derek Reardon on hot goal-scoring form, 6 for the season so far. Had a long spell at Cowdenbeath when he couldn't stop scoring, and he was quickly recalled by Hibs. Andy Kirk prodded away from him by Doumbé. On from Hartley to Nielsen. That's for Paul Hartley again. Good defending from Gary Smith. Murdoch got in his way that time. Kisnorbo to Valois. Alex McFarlane. Patrick Kisnorbo tried to thread that through for Mark de Vries. Well kept out. It's fast and it's furious. And we're not surprised. Derek Reardon testing out Kevin McKenna for pace. Covering across the skipper, Stephen Presley. Cool pass from McKenna. Sets up Orman. He's bundled over and Hibs have a free kick.
That's good play from young Derek Reardon. Showing a great turn of pace. Stephen Presley covering well across the back, but I'm sure that's a ploy Hibs will try to employ today. The ball over the top. Stephen Presley there read it well.
First set-piece chance for Hibs. In from Kevin Thompson. Useful ball in. Presley heads it away. And the effort from Scott Brown flies over the top of Craig Gordon's crossbar.
He was never in control, Scott Brown. It's a decent free kick in. Lots of challenges inside the box. When it comes here, Brown can't get his foot over the ball, can't keep it down. Sails well over the bar.
Craig Levein about to notch up 3 years as Hearts head coach, and he would love to reach that milestone with an Edinburgh Derby victory followed by a European win. Reardon against Maybury and McKenna. No free kick for Hibs, despite the pleas of the young striker. Maybury was fouled by Brown.
It's been a hectic start to the game, to say the least.
You've played in this one often enough yourself, of course. You know what it's like, Sandy.
Yeah, they're great games. Derby games are always marvellous occasions. And today at Tynecastle, we'll see this is a free kick, Scott Brown on Alan Maybury. Nobody want to give an inch. They're the part of the game. Very competitive. Just look at the Hibs team, Rob. They're actually playing 3 across the back, 5 across the middle of the park.
In from Andy Kirk. Played up for Reardon, couldn't make it stick. Here's Norbo. Out off Derek Reardon, Hearts throw. Alan Maybury to take it. Andy Kirk not picked up, he was in yards of room. His cross deflected behind, corner kick.
That's good play from Andy Kirk. What he does here, Rob, he goes into, looks like an offside position before he receives the ball there. Gets the deflection from the corner kick. They received the ball from a throw-in, that's why he's not offside. Good awareness.
Poor marking. First threat possibly here on Daniel Anderson's goal. Paul Hartley's corner. Not too damaging. Back from Nielsen to Gordon. Craig Gordon, who played in both Scotland under-21 playoff matches against Croatia, home and away. Gathering a lot of experience at the moment, the young keeper. Fired that out of play. You need to keep calm, but it's not easy in this sort of atmosphere, is it?
I'm sure it'll settle down as the game goes on. Not really put their foot in the ball yet, made a telling pass.
That was out before it was hoisted upfield by Matthias Doumbé. Too many seats to be had inside Tynecastle. And a massive noise echoing around the stadium. Grant Brebner for Hibs. It was deflected off Keys Norbo and played back by Robbie Nielsen. Scott Brown couldn't keep it. Valois has it. And Maybury. Play it right back or left back for Hearts. Alan Maybury is swapped around fairly regularly. Robbie Nielsen has a free kick.
That's good play from the Hearts full-back. Showing lots of confidence. He had an excellent game in Bordeaux recently. He does well here. Commits defenders again, and Edinburgh just obstructs him more than anything else.
Had a loan spell, Robbie Nielsen, with Cowdenbeath a few years back when Craig Levein was the manager of Cowdenbeath. He was at Queen of the South as well for a spell, but he was looking a much improved player. Valois' free kick. Skimmed off ahead of Brebner. Another Hearts corner.
I don't think that was the best of free kicks here from Jean-Louis Valois. Really doesn't find a Hearts player, but it gets a corner kick on the opposite side. Start second in the game. The last one from Paul Hartley wasn't the best delivery. I think they're going to be looking for an improvement.
A warm welcome from the Hibs fans for Paul Hartley. Used to play for them, of course. Poor from Hartley, but it ends up in the back of the net. A freak goal gives Hearts the lead in the second derby of the season. 8 minutes gone. I was in the process of saying what a poor corner. Well, it worked out for Hartley. It ended up behind Daniel Anderson. It's 1-0.
It's an incredible goal. It's not a great delivery, but I tell you what, it works out really well. Both players miss it at the near post. I believe that's got to be an own goal.
Yeah.
Is it Grant Brenda?
I think it is.
Eventually. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Grant Brenda. Can't do an awful lot about it. I don't know if it's a dummy error or whatever, but it's a ricochet, to say the least.
It's Alan Orman, I think, isn't it? It's certainly an own goal. Craig Levine is not bothered how it went in. But Hearts have the lead. And Patrick Kisnorbo was yellow carded. In the aftermath of that goal, Kisnorbo not happy, but he's been shown a yellow card. And Hibs will be so disappointed they couldn't deal with that. It should really have been comfortably dealt with at the near post.
You're right, Rob, it should have been clear from that area. As soon as he goes beyond the near post, everyone's caught by surprise, and he will not be happy at all.
Not the start Bobby Williamson wanted. The De Vries flick aimed at releasing Andy Kirk. And Hearts threatening to add to their lead.
It's a slip there from Alan Norman.
Maybury's throw beyond De Vries. De Vries kept out by Gary Smith. And I think my suspicions were correct. It was Alan Orman's own goal. He won't want the credit for it, but it was definitely his goal. In off Orman, Hearts ahead.
I don't think he could do much about it though. It's one of those unfortunate ones. The breaks go for you or against you. That one certainly went for Hearts.
Murdoch's pass to Brown as Hibs look to respond. 19-year-old Kevin Thompson, 20-year-old Derek Weirden. Stephen Presley keeps him out.
Seen one again on Robbie Nielsen, second time. I'm sure Hugh Dallas is having a quiet word there. No more.
Well, it's a bizarre goal to reflect on. In from Paul Hartley, there's the awkward bounce, and it was played away at the near post. And off Alan Orman, behind Daniel Anderson, 1-0 Hearts.
Unfortunately, Alan Norman there.
Gary Smith under pressure from Andy Kirk.
It's a free kick,
Roll kick.
Gary Smith, good experience. And Andy Kirk was on his bike again from the throw-in, on the move early, making life difficult for the Hibs back players. As we said, Hibs have got three at the back today to try to match the partnership of De Vries and Kirk. Matt De Vries wins so many flick-ons, and Andy Kirk so sharp on the end of them.
Chick, we saw Craig Levine's reaction there to that opening goal. I guess he's not too bothered who scored it.
I don't think he's got an absolute clue who scored it. I'm sure that was one of the questions he'll be asking me at half time we got the tunnel. But happy, very contented look in his face. Actually, Bobby Williamson has been out trying to counsel his defence a lot, but I think maybe Rob, they're sitting in too deep at the moment. He's trying to message across, but it's absolute bedlam down here, I tell you.
Less than 12.5 minutes played, and already enough incident to keep us going for a good while longer. That's Colin Murdoch, and bone-shuddering challenge by Thompson on Nielsen. I think it was Kevin Thompson at the near post who tried to clear that corner that came off Orman and ended up in the back of the net. It was like pinball.
It was a fresh year one first, and then you're right, the ball can end up anywhere.
Ian Murray's clearance, flicked on by Derek Reardon. Gary O'Connor chasing, back from Kevin McKenna. Kevin McKenna's had 2 internationals during the week for Canada, defeats against the Republic of Ireland and the Czech Republic. Now, Sandy, that's a popular beat combo called Westlife, and the connection is Nicky Byrne, one of their singers, who is a pal of Alan Mabry's. That's Nicky Byrne in the blue cap. That's his pal. And they were apprentices together at Leeds United, I'm reliably informed. Anything else you need to know?
No, that's fine, thank you very much.
I know you're more a Callum Kennedy, Andy Stewart sort of person, but
that was Westlife. Doesn't make me a bad person.
And that was Alan Mabry, whose clearance cannoned off Brebner. Reardon for Hibs. Hustled out of it by a cluster of Hearts players around him. Reardon's flick infield. Time for Robbie Nielsen. He didn't really use it.
That's the Stephen Presley thing there, Rob. I don't know what he tried to do there to Alan May, but it was a tour ball. Not like him. If in doubt, put the ball up the field.
Alan Orman, the reluctant goal scorer, in from Reardon, and a diving header away from Presley. Scott Brown, and that's heading behind for a Hibs corner. Hibs hoping they can make as much of this corner as Hearts made of their second corner of the match. Played in by Thompson. Murdoch's header. Reardon! Terrific angled effort from Derek Reardon, saved by Craig Gordon, solidly behind it.
He's unlucky, young Reardon here. It's a great save from Craig Gordon, good reflexes. Reardon lots of space inside the Hearts 6-yard box.
Murray to Murdoch. Kevin McKenna clears. Back from Smith, and it's McKenna again. On from Hartley. A header well won by Thompson. A corner to Brown. Murray to Doumbé. Cleared by Alan Mabry, only as far as Ian Murray. That wasn't what he was planning. Mark de Vries off and running. Leaves it to Andy Kirk. Support from Jean-Louis Valois. Well, there was a chance on for Hearts there. Mark de Vries had peeled away to the back post, and Paul Hartley couldn't quite make up his mind what he was going to do.
It's certainly end-to-end stuff. Chances at both ends.
Calm, quiet Sunday afternoon? Not. Was never going to be between these two deadly rivals. 7 points between them at the moment in the Premier League table. Hearts looking to make it 10. Given away by Valois. Straight at Derek Reardon. Good effort though from him, and that takes the pressure off. But his earlier effort from an angle much more impressive.
That one was disappointing, but this one he's unfortunate. Hearts don't win the header inside the box. And look at the space he's got. He's got time to control the ball, turn, and he certainly gets it on target. And a good hand from young Craig Gordon.
Yeah, good save by the keeper there from Reardon. Offside against Scott Brown. A reminder of the man of the match telephone number 090 11 110 861. And Pro Evolution Soccer 3 game is among the prizes for that man of the match competition. Sandy decides later. Gary O'Connor plays it in for Derek Reardon. Scott Brown almost there. Craig Gordon in your own time gets it away. Smith touched that out of play.
I'm just having a look at Rob, the way Hibs are playing. Scott Brown just playing off the front two of Reardon and Gary O'Connor, and it's working fairly well for Hibs. He's getting lots of opportunity on the ball.
McKenna under pressure from O'Connor, did well. Long ball from Maybury. Snuffed out the threat there by Colin Murdoch. Mark de Vries holding off the challenge of Matt Doumbé. Alan Orman hoists it away. And out of play off Alan Maybury. In the 20th minute at Tynecastle. If you've just joined us, an Alan Orman own goal separates these sides.
It's been very close, not too much at all between the teams. I actually feel I've got a little bit more confidence because of the goal. The Hibs are slowly working their way back into the game.
And they might have a chance here with Scott Brown. Stephen Presley's challenge and getting slowly back to his feet. Well, he's got enough injuries to be going on with at the moment. He doesn't need another one. How's his smile looking, Chick?
Well, the good thing is it's not a dental problem, we can see that. But he's talking about substitution here. I think he's gone in the thigh muscle. I think Elvis has just signed across to the bench that he wants to come off. He's finished in this game, Rob. That's bad news for Hearts. I can tell you the little problem he had with his teeth. I was talking before the game, and I was hoping for the post-match interview because he's got these temporary crowns in, and he's just sounding like hissing Sid at the moment. But he did lose the crowns in the park. He thought they could put them back in because that's happened to Christian Daly. The dentist said no, temporary arrangement, but it's not a dental problem now. He's coming off with a bad thigh injury.
Yep. His time is up. Stephen Presley and presumably Andy Webster will be a straight replacement for the skipper, but Hearts will miss his inspiration and influence. Neil McFarlane. Presley plays it down the line. Ian Murray hooks it away, and I think Hearts will want to get Stephen Presley out of there as quickly as possible. He's pretty immobile. Gary O'Connor fails to find a way past Kevin McKenna.
You're right, Robin, what you say. Stephen Presley can hardly move at all. They've got to get him out of that back four and off the park as soon as possible.
He's been playing with a groin problem for a while, Stephen Presley. He's not done very much training, and now a thigh injury to go with it. And I would have thought there would be a fair bit of urgency about Craig Levine's requirements to get Webster on. Gary Smith plays it straight at Robbie Nielsen. Mark de Vries with a good touch to get quick control, but it's won back for Hibs by Kevin Thompson. On to Derek Reardon. Brown and O'Connor in the middle. Orman getting there as well. Kevin McKenna's header away. McFarlane heading for de Vries. Murdoch and Murray both diving in to win it. Deep play from Matthias Doumbé. But the pass was heavy for Brown, won by McFarlane. Now Kisnorbo, offside, Andy Kirk.
Just offside, Andy Kirk.
The captain's armband is handed to Alan Maybury. He was hurt in the challenge with Scott Brown. There's the challenge, and the momentum of Brown took him into Presley.
Listen, there was a dead leg. His knee, John Brown's knee, went into Stephen Presley's thigh, so that's a sore one. That's a problem. He's experienced enough and wise enough to know that he could let the team down if he stays on.
And Andy Webster, who's been out of the side recently, is back in alongside Kevin McKenna. Paul Hartley, and that's out of Scott Brown. So Craig Levein with a defensive change that he certainly didn't want to make at any stage of the match, and especially not midway through the first half. But Hearts have the lead, courtesy of that early own goal. Now the skipper, Maybury. Orman plays it away from Valois. He's been eased back into the Hearts top team recently, Jean-Louis Valois, after Achilles trouble. And when he's at his fittest and sharpest, he has definite match-winning qualities. Nielsen, Valois, Hartley, and De Vries. The layoff goes to Ian Murray. Scott Brown to Derek Reardon. Good defending from Maybury. In behind him was Gary O'Connor. And Scott Brown was caught late on the far side of the pitch. He's getting back to his feet now. I wonder whether Hugh Dallas might take some action about the challenge, which left him grounded. It was very late.
It was Andy Webster, Rob, that had the challenge of Scott Brown. You see it here. He's just on the field of play. Yeah. He's not up to pace yet for the game. With Hugh Dallas having a quiet word.
A word being had with Kevin McKenna.
He's got the wrong one.
It wasn't me, Gov, says the Canadian international. And Andy Webster, very fortunate to escape without a yellow card, or even a talking to.
Well, it certainly would have been a word of warning, to say the least.
That's Webster's clearance, which goes to Orman. Brebner, Doumbé. Kisnorbo won it. De Vries to Valois. Nifty footwork gets him away from Doumbé. Frenchman against Frenchman.
That's better from Valois. Haven't seen too much of him so far, but the one thing Hearts have got in the lead, if they want to get the ball to people like Valois to hold on to it, to try and play in the Hibs half of the field.
Andy Webster in the way. Kisnorbo, wasn't sure where that was. Took a touch off Scott Brown on its way out. Doumbé looking a top-class central defender for Hibs this season. That's not bad, is it, for Ian Murray? Back goes Paul Hartley.
That's good play for Paul Hartley, tracking Ian Murray all the way back.
Hibs captain with the throw. Kevin Thompson on the byline, but couldn't whip the ball into the middle. We're back here live on Thursday nights for Hearts against Bordeaux. UEFA Cup second round, second leg, and Hearts with a 1-0 lead from France, courtesy of Mark De Vries and of this man as well. A string of successive saves in that match kept Hearts in front. Daniel Anderson still a bit bemused as to how that ball ended up in the net behind him earlier on from Orman.
Really, Anderson hasn't had a save to make. He's been very quiet. Craig Gordon, I think, one save in his goal. Very much a midfield battle so far.
Orman's cross, McKenna's header away. Brebner has it. That's for Scott Brown. Two good touches from Brown, and then it's played away.
He was unlucky, Scott Brown. Gary O'Connor, I think, saying to him, should have laid the ball back to me. I was in the edge of the box. Scott Brown gets a yard of space inside the box here. The ball just won't fall for him. It's bouncing all the time. A little flick off his hand here. That's eventually getting that way.
Another chance to see the bizarre opening goal. It was Kevin Thompson on the near post who tried to clear it, and it spun back off Alan Orman and into the net past Daniel Anderson. 1-0 Hearts. "29 minutes gone of the second Edinburgh derby of the season." Live from BBC Scotland. Good pass from Valois. Kisnorbo gets it back from De Vries. Well, not bad at all from Patrick Kisnorbo from long range. Good exchange which preceded it as well.
That's good play from Hearts. Comes from the free kick. Valois, great touch, little 1-2 here between De Vries and Kisnorbo. And the space opens up in front of him. One thought in his mind, I'm going to have a go. Unfortunately, not to get on target.
Hearts concerned they might be without Kisnorbo in January. There's an Australian international camp which he may well be invited to attend, and expect a club v country row yet again when that one comes along. Maybury's clearance picked up by Brebner. On from Thompson, Brown, now Orman. Control wasn't good enough. Kisnorbo intercepted. Valois to Kirk. Now Hartley. Kept it well there, Paul Hartley, and wins a free kick.
Good control from Paul Hartley. Could maybe have passed that way there a little bit earlier, but Scott Brown catching him late, to say the least. Takes his battle well there, Hartley. But Brown coming in, you see him late. That's a bad one, to say the least. It could easily have been a yellow.
Squared by Hartley, but will have to be retaken. New Dallas wasn't ready. Making sure the wall is in the right place, the referee.
If you can't move the ball, move the ball.
Paul Hartley's effort is wide. Daniel Anderson was feeling comfortable about that.
I think the big goalkeeper had it covered. Paul Hartley trying to play across the goalkeeper. But the first thing they've got to do is get on target. Well wide eventually.
Andy Webster won the header. Held up by Kirk for Valois. Neat flick from Hartley to De Vries. Shot blocked by Murdoch. And turned out to play by Alan Orman. Hearts getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, no pressure from Hearts now. Matt De Vries had loads of time.
Maybury's throw to Webster. I think Andy Webster's a one-goal a season man, and that won't be it.
I think you could call that a centre-half shot. All over the place, to say the least.
Just been given a rest out of the first team recently. He did play up Aberdeen in the last match for Hearts, but prior to that he's had a spell playing for the under-21s, and Craig Levein taking the decision to just remove him from the limelight for a while, because it's been a pretty incredible season for Webster.
That has, to say the least, when you look at the times he's also played for his country and played very well.
Good running from Grant Brebner, getting beyond the strikers, but he couldn't quite pull that ball down inside the danger area.
Brebner does that well. He's happy to go beyond the strikers. .12.5 minutes of the first half remaining.
Neil McFarlane's pass, controlled, driven along the floor for Andy Kirk. Paul Hartley tries to get beyond Ian Murray. Useful for Mark de Vries. Good challenge by Matt Doumbé. McFarlane probing again at the Hibs defence.
I tell you, Rob, that was a great challenge, just as you said there, from Doumbé. Matt de Vries had pulled his head back to try and get the header on target. Doumbé just getting there. Again, good threat from Hearts down the right-hand side.
He's a player that Ian McCall fancied signing out there in the season for Dundee United, just before he did actually sign Chris Innes. Doumbé, much admired. He was signed by Alec McLeish from Paris Saint-Germain. It's taken him a while to have an impact at Easter Road, but he looks top quality to me, Sandy.
Yeah, he's come on a lot. He used to make a lot of mistakes, but not now. He gets served first before Mark de Vries, and that's not easy to do.
What's happening in that technical area, Jake?
Well, you were talking about the defensive talents of the Hibs players there, but Craig Levein was telling Paul Hartley to get further, drift a little bit wide, get into the corner. They responded immediately. It was him that fired in that cross.
In from Orman, away from Webster. That's Maybury, who was caught as he headed the ball clear by Orman. I don't think there was anything too malicious about it, but Maybury floored.
He's back on his feet quickly, so I'm sure he'll be okay, Alan Maybury. But he can't see Orman coming at all. Gets to the ball first, and it's his momentum more than anything else that carries him through. But thankfully, no harm done.
Given the cold shoulder there, Maybury, by Orman. Flick from de Vries. Time to clear from Murdoch. Webster's header. Well won by Alan Maybury. That was a good challenge.
Good timing there from Alan Maybury. Kept his eye on the ball. I tell you what, I think that close to the way in Hibs way. That's a little bit fortunate there. Jean-Louis Valois knocked that one out.
Kevin McKenna to Robbie Neilson. And infield to Neil McFarlane. Played early for Kirk.
I tell you, Rob, there's a strange one. Hugh Dallas has given the free kick one way. His assistant on the far side was pointing the other way. I think Mr. Dallas might win that argument. There's a winner.
I think the MBE makes all the difference. Of course, the officials are wired for sound these days, so they are able to communicate without having to approach each other. Played into the corner by Brebner. Orman was after it. Maybury's hurt.
That looks a painful one this time. Again, purely accidental. The press to Alan Maybury and Alan Orman. They're both challenging for the ball again. It's a 50-50.
I wonder if it's something about that captain's armband, because Stephen Presley handed it over to Alan Maybury when he went off hurt, and now the stand-in skipper is in the wars as well.
It looks as if it's maybe his back, Robbie's lower back. Maybe Orman caught with his knee or something.
Alan Orman doesn't want to be the match winner, but at the moment his goal separates the sides.
It does, and it's incredible when you look at it. I think that's Grant Brenda near post there. It's a fresh air when it comes across.
Yeah, and Thompson on the post behind him.
Yep. Well, it's so unlucky if you're a Hibs fan, yeah. But if you're a Hearts fan, you're delighted.
Webster clears. Maybury still off the pitch getting treatment. McFarlane to Valois. Under pressure from Orman. Alan Maybury back on the pitch. Not moving too freely at all, but Hearts don't want to lose another member of the back four. Scott Brown, Alan Orman. Orman's cross, Robbie Nielsen's header. Played away by Kisnorbo. And on through Andy Kirk to Neil McFarlane. Support arriving from Nielsen. 3 in the penalty box. Good touch from Hartley, good turn from Hartley. But he couldn't find Andy Kirk with the pass. Otherwise, it might well have been 2-0.
What a chance that is, Rob. Great first touch from Paul Hartley. Tried to pick out Andy Kirk and it was a poor second touch, poor pass. Great opportunity to go on.
De Vries stopped by Orman, but good skills here from Hartley, but he needed that final ball to be right.
That's all it takes. It's a great move from Hearts.
No flags, Andy. I just wondered whether Kirk was offside there, but the flag certainly stayed down.
Paul Hartley could actually have went on his own as well. But Hearts looked that little bit more dangerous when they go forward. Hibs having a lot of the ball, but really haven't threatened too much. Whereas you feel there's a real threat from Hearts in the last leg.
Yeah, that save from Craig Gordon to deny Derek Reardon from an angle. That's about the only save he's had of any note so far, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Daniel Anderson's had very, very little to do as well. But you just get the feeling that that youngster there, he'll certainly do well as his career goes on.
Corners have not been good news for Hibs so far. Valois, McFarlane, onside, not now, Hartley. Well, that was a late flag against Paul Hartley.
I tell you what, that's obviously from the training ground. It's a great move from Hearts at the corner kick. Neil McFarlane could actually have elected to have a shot. It'd be interesting just to see when the ball's played. I think he's onside. I think that's a mistake. Whenever the ball's played, it looked as if he was okay. Sometimes the breaks go for you.
What about Alan Maybury, Chick?
Yeah, there's been a bit of a conversation in the dugout. I think they would give him to half-time, Rob. He's struggling with the base of his spine there. The medical team have just had a word with Craig Levine. He said Stephen Simmons out warming up. There's Maybury there. He has been toiling. I know the boys in Westlife will want him to carry on, but the song might be over for him.
Oh dear. Kevin McKenna's headed away. Ian Murray's throw. That's a lovely touch from Brown. And a free kick is his. Good skills from the 18-year-old.
It's a good player, Scott Brown. Good close control. Robin Nielsen just taking them out there, almost in the corner flag. Every Hearts player back inside the box. It's interesting when you watch Hearts defence set pieces. Matt De Vries just picks an area and attacks the ball. Doesn't pick up a man. Just tries to attack the ball wherever it comes in.
Reardon and Thompson deliberating, and in the end it's played straight at Craig Gordon. A wasted opportunity for Hibs.
An easy one eventually for the young goalkeeper. But if somebody just gets a touch on this one, it becomes a different situation altogether. Just too much height in the ball.
De Vries with the layoff to Kisnorbo. Maybury. Hartley. Good defending again from Doumbé. Then gives it away.
Throw in. Okay, Matt Doumbé, Rob, is so quick. It's one of his biggest assets. Anything over the top, he invariably gets there first.
Kisnorbo wins it for Hearts. In goes McFarlane, finds De Vries. Andy Kirk. Jean-Louis Valois, good strike.
That's a good effort. Unexpected. Valois popping up on the right-hand side, pulls his ball onto his left foot, one thing in his mind. It's a shot and it's on target eventually, an easy one for the goalkeeper.
Another booking. It's for Alan Orman. Well, his afternoon is getting worse and worse.
It's on Kisnorbo. I don't see that as being too bad, to be honest, but it's certainly a free kick.
I think it's for a series of them, maybe, Sandy. He did have a couple of fouls on Maybury earlier on. I think that's maybe just for a succession of offences. So an own goal and a yellow card so far. Happy days. Maybury's free kick. McKenna was there. Well defended, though, by Hibs. Brevner launches it. Reardon's after it. Maybury has things under control.
That's good cover from Alan Maybury. full-back tucker in to help his central defenders.
Thompson's pass, an offside flag, and Kevin Thompson was caught late as well.
I think the referee's given a free kick in Hibs' favour. Just a late challenge there. Same time as the assistant put his flag up for offside, but the referee giving the award in Hibs' favour.
Was that Kuznorbo's challenge, Sandy? I think it probably was.
Yep.
He's been yellow carded already, so challenges like that from him, not advisable.
No. Nothing going well for Hibs there. The referee decided not to give the offside instead.
Murdoch's header. Time flies in the Edinburgh derby. 90 seconds left of the first 45 minutes. Defending successfully against Gally O'Connor. Strong on the ball, Jean-Louis Valois to go with his undoubted skill, and then a disappointing pass at the end of it to Kevin Thompson. 2 minutes to be added, so the best part of 3 till we hear the half-time whistle. De Vries flicks it on to Kirk. De Vries was fouled after he got the pass away. Advantage being played, and there is an advantage for Hearts because they get a corner.
Andy Kirk sitting down in the job there. A good play again from Hearts to build up. Mark De Vries not too happy there. Colin Murdoch just really pulled him to the ground after they turned him. Referee given advantage.
Exactly on the clock. Jean-Louis Valois' corner headed away by Grant Brebner. On the break it's Scott Brown. Gary O'Connor wanted it played wide right. He made a good run. Hibs still have it with Thompson, not now. Doumbé gets in the way of the long ball from Valois. And Maybury. Doumbé wins it against Kirk. Brown gets it back from O'Connor. Good ball winning there from Andy Kirk. Tries to release Valois, unsuccessful. Colin Murdoch for Hibs. Can Hibs square it before half-time? In goes Reardon. Andy Webster's challenge.
It's a great challenge, Rob. Tended to perfection.
Now Ian Murray. Intended for Reardon. Kuznorbo got it away. Hartley intercepts for Hearts. Now Valois. Minute and a half added at the end of the first half. 30 seconds left. De Vries. Again, top-class defending from Doumbé.
Covered it well.
Deceptively strong, Doumbé. That's off Scott Brown. Half-time at Tynecastle. And Hearts have the leads in the derby. A freakish goal going into the nets of Fallon Orman. But the Hearts supporters don't really mind how it came about, as long as it went in the back of the net. It was Kevin Thompson who tried to clean it. It came off Fallon Orman, who knew little about it. And Daniel Anderson was a beaten Hibs goalkeeper. Here's Peter Houston.
Peter, I know you won't know much about the goal. I've seen about 7 replays. I've just worked out it was an own goal. You won't care how it's gone in. It's been a good performance by Hearts, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a tough first half as far as the goals concerned. Paul took a corner kick before that, and quite a poor corner kick, and I thought that was just going to be the exact same again, but fortunately for us it went in the net. But we've worked hard and fighting for every ball.
Stephen Presley, what's his decision? It looks like a bad one.
Well, it's his thigh. He says it's his thigh, so hopefully it's not the groin injury that he had prior to going with the Scotland team. But obviously with Thursday coming up, it's going to be we're going to need to monitor it.
And there was a worry about Alan Mabry. It looked at the bottom of his spine. That you don't know who he is. Will he continue in the second half?
Well, he seems to be rubbing it a wee bit just now. We'll have to have a look right now and see what the situation is there. But we've got cover.
And tactically, you happy?
Happy tactically. I think any football that's coming is coming for the Hearts. If we can keep that going, keep passing the ball and create some chances, then who knows what can happen.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Cheers, Paolo.
Football's coming from the heart, says Peter Houston. I wonder whether you agree with that. Wonder whether Scott and Gordon agree with that. We'll debate that in a moment. Disappointing 45 minutes in some ways, Gordon. A lot of effort, but not a lot of football played, really.
Well, there's been outbreaks of football now and again, but been few and far between. I think it's just hard fought. I mean, people might say it's a typical derby game just because both sides are putting an awful lot of effort in. The fans are getting both teams going. Hibs are just working hard to make it difficult. They've set their team up today, I think, basically to get the 3 at the back and 5 in the midfield, and the 5 in the midfield to try and stifle Hearts and stop Hearts getting any build-up through the midfield, and it's very rarely that they've had any space in there. Now and again they've broken through, and one time Valois had a shot after some good play, because Norbo had a shot just over the bar. But apart from that, they found it very difficult to play. And Hibs are lively. They've done well, Hibs. You know, they're working hard together. Not played a lot of scintillating football, but it's maybe going to open up a bit in the second half once it settles down a bit. It's a bit frantic.
Yeah, that is probably the word, isn't it? It's frantic, and that's what we associate with derby matches. But you're still looking for a bit more quality, Scott.
It's
really,
incredibly scrappy. I mean, it's none of the teams have actually settled down at all in the game. I mean, maybe Hearts have just edged it, I would say, but. I mean, I think what you're looking for with Hibs is for Riordan and Brown to try and cause some problems, and they have. They've looked quite sharp at times, but I think Hearts have probably had the better play and the better chances in the first half. Kirk's done really well. He's been skipping around De Vries, and he's been also sharp, getting out wide, getting on the ball and using it really well. So, you know, there's not been much to talk about, to be totally honest, but there's been one or two things.
Yeah, has indeed. We'll take a look at them very shortly, but we've still got one of yesterday's matches to bring you, of course, and it's Dougie Vipond who reports on the Dunfermline-Dundee match from East End Park.
It's been a nightmare week for Dundee, and they might have thought they were still dreaming after seeing the East End Park pre-match entertainment, but not even Merlin could come up with a spell for victory for them, although they had a lot to do with providing an entertaining and enthralling match. Julian Speroni was first up on stage, and he duly delivered some acrobatics, even though Craig Brewster physically heckled. Some well-earned applause there for Speroni, and some equally well-earned praise came from his opposite number just 2 minutes later, Fabrizio Ravanelli providing the supporting role. The first half also produced a disallowed goal for offside, a waved-away penalty claim for Dundee, and a near miss for Gary Dempsey. Barry Smith's outstretched leg kept the score at 0-0. Even Stevens at half-time then, but even Steven wasn't too happy about it. And thanks to a David Grondin cross and Craig Brewster dummy after 51 minutes, meant Steven made sure the score wasn't even any longer. A fantastic finish from Crawford, but there was better to come from him later. Dundee played like their very existence was at stake, and for some that could be a reality. A minute later they could have been back in the match if it wasn't for Derek Stilley. Stevie Crawford didn't start for Scotland in the last 2 matches, and he had a message for Bertie Vogts yesterday, and that message was, "I'm still scoring goals." Number 2 bulleted home with his head. That's 9 goals so far for Crawford this season. Could have been 3 with 6 minutes left to play, but that really wouldn't give a true reflection of this game, so thankfully Julian Speroni did enough to keep Darren Young out. So the points stay at East End Park, even though the story is all about Dundee.
It's not a good time for the club, but I think the most frustrating thing is the time factor, waiting to find out what's happening. It's a concern that you can't do anything about it. It's just eating away at you, wondering who's going to win a job, who's not going to win a job, is it going to go into administration or not. So I think we just want to really get it resolved.
We've got some great players, and it'd be a shame. I mean, it's a club steeped in history. I know when I was young, you know, they've so much history, and it would be a shame. Hopefully they get themselves sorted out. Motherwell got themselves sorted out and come back a lot stronger.
I want to stay in Dundee because
honestly, it's a very good atmosphere in the changing room. His defense is very fantastic. He's in the boarding, is there a very good man. But I don't know, I have the confidence with Giovanni Di Stefano.
So Ralph has confidence in Giovanni Di Stefano. Gordon, you are Craig Burley's agent. Does Craig have confidence in him?
Well, he's waiting to see. I mean, I think the thing about it, and Jim Duffy sort of summed it up well, there people can deal with bad news and or good news, but it's uncertainty is the biggest problem you have to deal with, because you don't know where you are, and that's exactly what Craig Burley is, like most of the players. He's been reputed in the papers to be one of the ones who's going to be losing his job on Monday, and when a few players get sacked. So
and he knows nothing about that.
Knows nothing about that at all. It's just he's only just heard the rumours that are coming through the
Has he been paid,
media.
Gordon?
He's been paid 1 month. He's been there for 2 months so far, and he hasn't his second month.
So he hasn't been paid for October. And he's due to be paid for November at the end of this week as well.
Well, that's right. If he got another month, but I mean, Dundee didn't say that. They said that was an oversight and they were going to sort that out. But if he doesn't get, if he is one of the ones that's released on Monday, then he might have to become a creditor along with a lot of other people. That's all you become as the players.
It's a worrying situation. Most football people will say they're going into administration. What does that mean? We're not going to get into an accountancy debate here, but it's obviously worrying times for Dundee.
Well, certainly if it's dealt with in the manner it was dealt with at Motherwell. I mean, Motherwell have come through it and they've sorted themselves out. But let's be honest, a lot of players had hardship because of it. Players lost their jobs and couldn't get any money, and then owed money still, and this was what would happen at Dundee, and I think it's a bad thing. And the shame is that Dundee are one of our top clubs, and it's been an exciting club.
That's right. They're playing such good football at the moment.
They play such good football. They've got star players. They're good to watch. This is a really bad situation there, and let's hope they do get it resolved.
Yeah, we certainly do. Very worrying indeed. We wish them well as they try to resolve those financial problems. Right, let's move on. Yesterday saw the start of the 119th Scottish Cup competition. We've got highlights now of 4 of yesterday's 8 first-round ties.
Away to Inverness Clachnacudden is pretty much Stranraer's worst nightmare for a first-round Scottish Cup tie, but they made light of the long journey north by taking a 2-goal half-time lead to shatter the non-leaguers' hopes of a cup upset. Clach didn't do their own chances much good by giving away a penalty, which was duly taken and scored by Michael Moore. And just to make sure of their place in the second round, Alan Jenkins played a captain's part for Stranraer as Clach failed to deal with a corner. 2-0 before the break, game over. In the Highlands derby between the 2 third division sides, Peterhead edged in front of Elgin in a cracking first half thanks to some smart thinking from Martin Bavidge. 1-0 down and up against it, Elgin were facing mission impossible when Craig Tully got himself sent off for deliberate handball. The home side further contributed to their own downfall with some poor passing, which eventually allowed Bavidge in for his and Peterhead's second. (2-0) Peterhead. Elgin did get one back shortly thereafter, but it was a case of too little, too late, even though Craig Campbell's goal was well made and well taken. Down at Forth Bank, Stirling Albion had to do it the hard way after league rivals Queen's Park took a first-half lead thanks to a fine goal from Steve McCauley. But it was also different in the second half once Stirling got into their stride. George Rowe brought them back level, and it was David O'Brien who put Albion into the lead after Scott McLean did all the grafting. And just to make sure, Gary Kelly added a third to take Stirling safely through. The performance of the day, though, belonged to East of Scotland side Spartans, who gave Bucky Thistle a goal start, scored by Franny Moore, and then hit them for 6. Bucky could only watch and wonder after they scored. Keith MacLeod brought things level, just about, before Phil Johnson put Spartans ahead from a nicely delivered cross. And the first half scoring was completed by Ian Thompson. 3-1 up at half-time, Spartans went looking for more. Keith MacLeod bulldozered his way through for the 4th, his second of the game, and then Phil Hobbins helped himself to a couple of goals as Bucky's resistance crumbled. A day to remember for Spartans, who want to reproduce this form in round 2.
Round 2 on Saturday the 20th of December. We'll have highlights on our live match on the following day. Right, let's go back to Tynecastle then. 1-0 Hearts at half-time. Here's the Hibs assistant boss, Jerry McCabe, with Chick.
Jerry, I know you're making a change at half-time. What to get for Orman? Is that tactical?
No, Orman's already been booked, you know, and maybe a change. What he can really, he gets forward. you know, so it's maybe a tactical change in a way, but the other thing, got to protect ourselves in case Ormond gets sent off.
What have you made of the first half? What did you have to say to the boys at half time?
Well, I think we've done all right. I think we've had a lot of possession. You know, there've not been many chances made, and you know, the goal, the corner kick, I thought he'd actually mishit it, but you know, we've got to get Scotty Brown imposing himself on and get into the box.
Yeah, you think this game's still there to be won for Hibs, obviously?
Oh, certainly. You know, we're going out. You know, we're looking to win the game.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks.
Just the one goal then, and a fairly bizarre one it was. Kettle came from a corner kick, and that legendary Irish striker Ricochet had something to do with this one, Gordon, didn't he?
I mean, I was sitting thinking it was a bad corner when it initially got taken. I was thinking, oh, poor one. This should be cleared at the near post. It really should be. It's a catalogue of errors, isn't it?
Grant Brebner perhaps got that. Yeah, missed kicks here.
That's why he's there. He's there to clear that bad ball if it ever happens, and it did, and he wasn't there. So, but it's a freak goal.
Yeah.
Ormond can't do anything about it.
You feel for Ormond, really, because
yeah.
there's an own goal, but he didn't.
He gets credited with own goal, but you know, what can he do when the ball gets hit against him like that?
Yeah, bit of bad luck there, obviously. There wasn't a whole lot else in terms of near things, really, during the first half, but here's the closest we got. Those young Hibs strikers, which we're always talking about, certainly were a threat. Scott Brown and Derek Reardon here did well to get his shot on target at all, actually.
Yeah, he's turned really well there, hit it first time, and the goalkeeper's done really well. As you can see, he's protected his near post. But it's a good bit of action there, and it was probably one of the only real attacks they had.
That's right. The goalkeepers actually didn't have a whole lot to do, but Hibs worked very, very hard. Both teams worked hard, Gordon, but I think we've got a good shot here of just how hard Hibs were working to close things down and to make life difficult.
They're well organised, but look at this. Is just to defend a throw-in. Look at the flood area. I mean, they just flooded that area and they win it back because they've got about twice as many players as Hearts have got in there, and that's basically a tactic that Hibs have used pretty well, and it's made it difficult for Hearts to get playing. They just flood areas, and you know, Scott Brown's playing in the midfield. He's playing off the strikers. They're trying to get him forward. As Jerry McCabe said, they want to get him up forward. But look, you know, loads of players round about that ball, and it means that even when Hearts getting a throw in, you think there's an attacking opportunity there. You know, they're just getting.
Yeah, I think there's something about 8 green jerseys in that one shot we saw there, and that was only for a throw in
defend
just
a throw in
the half.
Yeah, and Jerry McCabe saying he wants to have Brown impose himself more in the game, but it's difficult when you're told to actually defend like that as well and get yourself back in there. He's been back a few times and cut out Hearts' attacks. And then to try and get yourself forward as well and get in the box is quite a difficult thing to do. But he's got young legs, so maybe he can do it.
Yeah. Talking of young legs, a pair of older legs will be missing. Elvis Presley, Big Stephen, of course, going off, and he's the organiser at the back. Gordon, Hearts might miss his influence as much as he's played.
I think they will. I think they always will. I think Webster's a good young player, and but the thing about it is, you know, you're putting in a young player and taking off a really experienced guy, and he's a real captain, Presley, and he does control things. Scott knows very well. There's a lot of talking at the back, and that'll be a boost to Hibs.
Well, the smiles are on the faces of the Hearts fans at the moment. They lead 1-0 after that rather bizarre own goal after just 8 minutes play. Let's see what happens in the second 45 minutes then. Back to Robin Sandy.
The Hearts players on the pitch already. The Hibs players about to make their second entrance for the second half. They were out on the pitch 5 minutes ago, then realised they'd come out too early for the second half. Then they went back in, so they're about to come out again now.
It was strange to say the least, Tom. The Hearts will be fairly happy with the first half, I'm sure.
Well, this was Hibs having come out for the second half, and then they went off again, realising there was still another 5 minutes to go. So, having gone back into the away dressing room, they're now coming back out again. Check what was going on there.
Well, this is a top secret, so keep it to yourself, but there's a bell that warns the teams when they come out. It's operated from the referee's dressing room. Hugh Dallas leant against it by mistake. And it was heard in the Hibs dressing room, that's why they came out. Can you just maybe a word or two about Stephen Presley?
What's happening there? Is he a doubt for Thursday, Chick?
Well, it's a doubt. I've been in to see him. He's really getting treatment in the Hearts physiotherapy room. His leg is packed with ice. He can't move at the moment. He's watching us on television, so we'll wish him all the best for Thursday. But there is a doubt over him at this stage. He's strained his thigh muscle.
Elvis, get yourself sorted, because Hearts will want you in there in central defence on Thursday against Bordeaux. Let's hope the ice does the trick. By the way, Chick would like some for his gin and tonic for the second half. Alan Ormond probably wishes he'd stayed at home today. An own goal, a booking, and substituted at half-time, replaced by 19-year-old Stephen Whittaker. Gary O'Connor for Hibs, trying to bustle his way through the thin maroon line, kept him out. Alan Maybury still in position at left back for Hearts, having suffered that back injury at the tail end of the first half, but it looks as if he's run off the problem, and that's a glimpse of the 19-year-old Whittaker on at right back for Hibs. Robbie Nielsen, well away.
Poor effort to say the least from the full-back there. Miles over the crossbar, takes the pressure right off the Hibs defenders.
So a reminder of the sides, with Andy Webster a first-half swap for the injured Stephen Presley, because Norbo has a yellow card and an offside flag against Derek Reardon of Hibs. And Hibs, of course, have made that change, which involved Orman staying in the dressing room, and young Stephen Whittaker, ex of Hutchison Vale Boys Club, a club from which Hibs have produced a lot of top players over the years. Whittaker, latest, making his 8th substitute appearance in the top team, hasn't started previously. Craig Gordon clears. Grant Brebner's header, comfortably dealt with by Andy Webster. McFarlane to Nielsen, upward De Vries. Slick stuff from Hearts. The top scorer on the ball again, De Vries. Tries to work it onto Patrick Kisnorbo, bursting through from the midfield. Hearts going in search of a second goal, at which point, can they get it? They would think they're looking pretty safe for the points. 1-0 meantime, De Vries wins the throw of Doumbé.
That's good play again from Hearts. Jean-Louis Valois and Lad De Vries combining down that left-hand side.
Grappling for possession. The substitute Whittaker against Jean-Louis Valois. Hibs free kick. And it's been left to Daniel Anderson to fire this upfield.
No, it's not. He doesn't want to take it.
No. So instead, Matt Doumbé sprinted back. Aimed for Brown. Played by McKenna off O'Connor. That was intended for Derek Reardon. Andy Webster clears.
Good play there from the Hibs front player. Scott Brown just getting a little flick on, and Gary O'Connor picking it up, trying to drive towards the corner flag.
That's good defending against Scott Brown from Alan Maybury. He was bundled over, and that won't do his back any good.
No, one. It's not the first time Scott Brown's been just, let's say, a little bit late with the tackle. The ball's well out the field of play here. Can't get anywhere near it. It's 2 swipes at Alan Maybury.
Yeah. I think maybe that's the 2-swipe rule. That means no booking.
It's okay to be aggressive and to try to win your battle, but really you've got to play within the rules of the game. And I know Scott Brown there's got to temper it down a little bit.
He wouldn't have been trying to capitalise on Alan Maybury's back injury there, would he? Hearts free kick, greeted by a massive roar, but that hasn't done Alan Maybury any good, and there will be continuing concern on the Hearts bench about his state of fitness. He's hobbling around. Nielsen's pass deflected off Ian Murray. Craig Levine has already had to take Stephen Presley off. The De Vries flick, and almost broke for Kevin McKenna. Whittaker clears. Ian Murray slices the ball out of play.
It's a long throw from Robbie Nielsen. Matt De Vries does this so well. Little flick on, and Kevin McKenna just can't quite get there. I've got to say, I feel a bit sorry for the referee today. The guys were saying in the studio at half-time, frantic is a great description. The game can't settle at all, and it's a hard one for the referee to get right. So many challenges getting
Just think, Hugh, you could have been Christmas shopping. There are worse fates on a Sunday afternoon than handling the Edinburgh Derby. 17 goals in 3 games this fixture produced last season. 1-0 Hibs in August at Easter Road, 1-0 Hearts so far here. Neil McFarlane with a chance to create. Andy Kirk peeling away, looking for the pass. Good interception from Stephen Whittaker. And a clumsy challenge from Paul Hartley.
Comes the chance again for Hearts on the break.
Murdoch to Whittaker. Likes to get forward, as Jerry McCabe was telling us at half-time, the young fullback. Stooping to head it away was Neil McFarlane. Mark de Vries gets there ahead of Colin Murdoch. Still has it, de Vries. Now Hartley. Paul Hartley gets the break of the ball. And that almost fell for Andy Kirk. Good save, Daniel Anderson.
Great save from the big Swedish goalkeeper.
The match going from one end to the other. Reardon plays it in. It's deflected. It's a corner.
End-to-end stuff again. Hearts on the break this time. Mark de Vries really can't control the ball, but Paul Hartley does really well. Driving into defence again. Tries to cut it across to the 6-yard box for Andy Kirk. The goalkeeper doing really well to get there nice and sharp.
Six in the box for Hibs. Derek Reardon plays it for Colin Murdoch. That's a great challenge against Murdoch from Patrick Kisnorbo. Might not be able to match the Ulsterman for physique, but he gave it everything, Kisnorbo, there, and that ensured that Hearts were defensively in no trouble. That ball's taking a fatal bruising.
It is. But that man there, Patrick Kisnorbo, alongside Neil McFarlane, central midfield for Hearts. They do so much work that people don't really notice, but they work all over the field, work back the way, support the front players, and we've seen it there, a defensive header from Kisnorbo as well.
Free kick given against Kevin McKenna for his challenge on Scott Brown. Young Scott Brown is certainly putting himself about here, trying to get Hibs back on terms. Scotland under-19 international, scored in all 3 games recently for the international side against Macedonia and Turkey and the Faroes. What can Hibs make of this? Reardon and Thompson have a discussion. No hurry. Played in by Reardon with a lot of pace, and the header from Gary O'Connor drops on the roof of the net.
It's a good free kick. Thompson over the ball. Reardon, lots of pace on it. Just takes the slightest of touches. Gary O'Connor probably gets too much on this one. Just sticks it too high. Momentum takes it over the crossbar.
The idea was good from Hibs. Gary O'Connor flung himself at the free kick from Reardon, and when it's played in with that much pace, it doesn't need too much contact to divert the ball into the nets. Sadly for Hibs, it was the top of the net. De Vries with the flick. In goes Andy Kirk. Good goalkeeping from Anderson to deny him again.
Also good cover from Gary Smith. Goal ploy from Hearts, the long ball forward. That man sharp off his line again.
He also plucked that up very calmly, didn't he, with Kirk homing in on him.
He's a goalkeeper playing with lots of confidence.
McKenna plays it away under pressure from Brown. No joy for Derek Reardon. Jean-Louis Valois should have got rid of that for Hearts, playing his team into trouble. And Patrick Kisnorbo is who escorts that behind.
Say, Rob, this could be a yellow card for Scott Brown. I think that's for persistent fouling.
I would say so.
He's not doing really well there, just to usher the ball out, and Brown, rightly so, trying to win the ball, trying to get his team back in the game.
He's certainly been very combative, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
He typifies the fight Hibs have and their desire to get back in this.
But when you're doing it, Rob, you can't give away free kicks, because Norbo protects the ball really well. And you see Brown, it's another swipe because Norbo, it's not the first time. You've got to play within the rules, that's the bottom line.
Did exactly the same against Alan Maybury, so maybe fortunate he wasn't booked that time. He's got a yellow this time. Robbie Nielsen's cross. And it was Jean-Louis Valois who nipped in front of Mark de Vries to get the header.
I think it's going to be offside anyway, Rob. The linesman had his flag up nice and early. It's a good ball in. Valois just can't go over the top of it. I don't see where offside came from, to be honest with you. It's got to be handicapped.
Yeah. Was he active?
He's right in the middle of the goals, he may well have been.
Chick, substitution action.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a debate between Jerry McCabe, Bobby Williamson and Jim Clark. Dobby's coming on. It was going to be Stephen Glass, might be introduced in the wake of that. Certainly Dobby coming on at the moment. Who is coming off, we will tell you exactly in a moment or two. I think it's Gary O'Connor.
I could sense you playing for time there. No free kick. Yeah, there is in fact for Gary O'Connor. I didn't think he was going to give it to start with Hugh Dallas, but he has given it in favour of the Hibs striker.
Challenge from Andy Webster. You see it here, O'Connor and Webster, they're just holding on to each other, but Gary O'Connor's gone down very easily.
Yeah, it was a bit theatrical, wasn't it?
Yep, he's won his free kick though.
Kevin Thompson's free kick, and that's poor.
Too much on the ball. Really didn't give his forwards a chance to attack the ball inside the box.
It was somewhere between a shot at goal and floating it in for a head, a Hibs head, wasn't it?
Yep, it was neither.
It's Hibs again, live on the BBC next weekend. Next Sunday, Hibs against Rangers at Easter Road. Here's Norbo's header. And Ian Murray has run that out of play. 13 minutes gone in the second half, and still it's the Alan Orman own goal which makes the difference in terms of scoreline. Thompson. The cut-out man was Andy Webster. Neil McFarlane does good work against Gary O'Connor, as does Nielsen. That came off Ian Murray. Arch throw.
I tell you, Rob, it hasn't been a classic by any manner of means in football terms, but every one of those players out there, they're giving it everything they've got. There's going to be a lot of tired legs going into the last part of this game. That's when we could maybe see some mistakes and some chances.
Nielsen's throw. Thompson's header. Hartley and Kirk offside. It's going to end up in the back of the net.
I tell you what, it's a great finish. He certainly is offside. The assistant's getting his flag up right away. Not much in it, and the assistant right.
I don't think Hugh Dallas appreciated the quality of the finish because he's having a right go at Andy Kirk now for knocking the ball over Anderson. He will add the time on. Mark de Vries. Offside is given.
I think the assistant's right again, but I tell you, Jean-Louis Valois made a great run on the opposite side of the field. If Mark de Vries lifts his head, plays it, switch of play the opposite side, inside left channel, but Kirk just offside again.
Murdoch's free kick. Played away by Hartley. Thompson flicks on the loose ball. It's well picked up by McFarlane. Nielsen. Maybury to Valois. Kirk. Mark de Vries could be in. The saving challenge from Colin Murdoch. It's a corner kick, but it could have been worse for Hibs. Much worse.
It's another half chance for Hearts, but that man there, Colin Murdoch, does exceptionally well to get back to Mark de Vries. Goes to sleep for just a second, but watch the cross to make sure the big striker can't get a shot off.
An hour gone. 1-0 Hearts. Paul Hartley's corner. Daniel Anderson's punch. And Mark Dumbe can keep it in. Calm defending from Robbie Nielsen against Derek Reardon. Mistake by Neil McFarlane. Ian Murray on the move. Murray did well to get that in. Good goalkeeping, Craig Gordon. It was an awkward one. Good handling as Grant Brebner prepared to pounce.
It's a great save. It's good refereeing to start with. Watch the amount of free kicks that could have went in Hibs' favour. There's a pull, there's a tug, but Murray plays on, gets a great ball across the goal, and that's safe hands.
The Edinburgh derby being played at a furious pace. De Vries to Valois. Jean-Louis Valois flick into the area, finds Paul Hartley offside.
I think Hartley and Andy Kirk are both offside. Yeah, two of them. When Jean-Louis Valois plays that ball in, Hibs do that really well. They press the game towards the 18-yard box and often cast their opponents offside.
As promised, Gary O'Connor off, Stephen Dobbie on. 3 Hibs goals this season, courtesy of a hat-trick against Montrose in the CIS Cup. So it's now Dobbie and Reardon for Hibs up front, with Scott Brown offering the support he can. Here he is. McFarlane's challenge, so important for Hearts. Sometimes underrated, Neil McFarlane, but he does give a composure to Hearts in the central midfield area, making up for the absence of the likes of Stamp and Sebron. Gary Smith launches it for Hibs. Webster there. Then Maybury. Offside.
Again, I think the assistant's right, but again, it's very, very close when the ball's played forward. I think they're just offside and no more. But eventually Hearts are going to get one of them right, whether it's a midfield run or whether it's Andy Kirk just coming back the way of Yard to keep himself one side.
Stephen Whittaker. Stephen Dobbie gets the throw. Dobbie against Maybury. Goal kick.
The Hibs fans not too happy that one. Stephen Dobbie trying to win the corner kick. Frustrated bunch today so far.
But their team's still only one down. Dumbe's header. Now Bregner. Reardon holds off McKenna. Gets the pass away to Brown. Obstruction from Maybury. And Alan Maybury is going to be yellow carded.
I think referee Hugh Dallas again tried to play advantage, but there wasn't really any advantage for Hibs. Alan Maybury won't complain too much about this one. Scott Brown looks as if he's almost through into a dangerous area. This obstruction taking him out of the game.
Year-old Derek Reardon, 19-year-old Kevin Thompson over the ball. Grant Brebner just alongside, and Hibs with 5 players in the area. It's Reardon, tried to sneak it in at the near post, but Craig Gordon had that covered.
Wasn't on target again. Again, it's one from the training ground. Young Derek Reardon, I'm sure, practices this type of thing. He gets it around the wall, but not enough bend on it to trouble the goalkeeper.
Murdoch's header. McFarlane to Kirk. Good defending from Gary Smith.
And the kid just gets a yard of space here. Onside this time. Shot on target, but good defending.
Nielsen's throw. Smith's flying header. Webster to Kisnorbo. Good pass. Robbie Nielsen, another chance to create. It's another own goal. Gary Smith this time. Alan Orman in the first half. Hearts 2 ahead, 2 own goals. Daniel Anderson could do nothing about it.
The goalkeeper's no chance of saving this again, Rob, but it's a good move from Hearts. Patrick Kisnorbo plays a great ball to Robbie Nielsen. That's a fantastic cross. It's so hard to defend against. It's between the goalkeeper and the defenders. The defenders end up facing their own goal. They don't know what the forwards are. They have to attack the ball, and that's exactly what can happen.
Mark de Vries tried to get the touch. Gary Smith did. 2 own goals in the Edinburgh derby. 2-0 Hearts. Can Hibs get one back immediately? No. But you were talking about the quality of the delivery from Robbie Nielsen there, Sandy. It was just into that ideal area, wasn't it, that introduces all sorts of doubts in defenders' minds.
You're right, and I think Patrick Kisnorbo played an enormous part in it. Kisnorbo played a marvellous ball right to Nielsen first.
Derek Reardon's onside, but Craig Gordon sprinting off his line. Craig Levine delighted to be 2 goals ahead. Chick, what's happening?
Yeah, that's John McGlynn, the youth team coach you saw beside Craig Levine. What happened just 5 minutes ago, Robbie? It called him down from the stand. John McGlynn watches the tactics from the stand, gets an overview. It called him down from the stand to get... there he is there, just at a word with Craig Levine. Maybe another change coming up, but John McGlynn on the left of your picture there, come down from the stand, had a word with Craig Levine and Peter Houston about the tactics, and it certainly worked wonders, though. How you script an own goal, I don't know.
Yeah, Craig Levine there having a word with Dennis Wyness, and that might be the next change for Hearts if they decide to make one. There's certainly a fair bit of chat going on there involving John McGlynn and Craig Levine. Mark de Vries rubbing his head. He's telling the Hearts bench that he was elbowed on the head, de Vries.
I'm interested, Rob, just to see if Hearts are going to make a substitution, just where it's going to be. Will it be Maybury coming off with that injury?
That's de Vries' header. Out of Patrick Kisnorbo. The Hearts fans jubilant. 2 goals ahead. They now think they're on the way to 3 Premier points and a 10-point advantage over their city rivals. It's going to be Dennis Wyness for Andy Kirk, I think, the change. When Hearts get around to it, and what a din inside Tynecastle now. What can Robbie Williamson's team do about it? Good run from Mark de Vries, but no support. Ian Murray stopped by Neil McFarlane. Grant Brevner's pass. Flicked on towards Derek Reardon and away by Andy Webster.
That's the difference, Rob. Hibs really can't hurt the Hearts defence at all today. They get so far up the field and they can't play that telling pass.
And how Hearts, I should say, have coped with the absence of Stephen Presley.
Haven't missed him. That's the best you can say about Andy Webster.
That's well played by Stephen Whittaker.
I think the Hearts fans were shouting for a handball there.
Andy Webster doing a top job in central defence. First half replacement for his Scotland colleague Stephen Presley. And
get the handbags out.
A flare-up between Brevner and Hartley.
Paul Hartley shouldn't be getting involved in that type of situation. He's won the free kick. It was high feet. If you watch it here, Brendan and Paul Hartley both going for the ball. Paul Hartley tries to knock it over him. I tell you what, that free kick could have went either way.
It was 6 handbags to half a dozen.
I'm sure Hugh Dallas will calm them down. Those two, of course, know each other from Paul Hartley's time at Easter Road. No harm done.
The Hearts supporters making the most of their 2-goal advantage, taunting their rivals. Kisnorbo's pass, laid back by Kirk to Hartley. Deep cross, played away by Whittaker. In comes Maybury. Valois to the byline. Tries to set up Kirk. That's well defended by Ian Murray. And the shot from Hartley goes too high. Great work down the left-hand side from Jean-Louis Valois.
Again, it's a real threat from Hearts. Every time they attack now, Valois getting to the dead ball line. And the kip's unlucky there. But Paul Hartley makes a mess of this one. I've seen Paul connect with that type of ball and stick it in the back of the net so often, but just gets that one wrong.
And certainly credit to Ian Murray for that challenge against Kirk, as Andy Kirk looked to make it 3 for Hearts. As it is, 2-0 they lead, 2 own goals. Quite incredible situation with Alan Orman and Gary Smith credited for the goals. They won't want to be credited with them, but not much choice. What can Hibs do about this, Sandy?
I'd say not enough for Rob at the moment because Hearts are playing so well, but I would maybe even consider playing a back 4 and try to get more width in their team, double up in the wide areas and try to do something to get a goal to get them back in the match.
And at the moment, Andy Webster and company will not be inviting them back into the game.
The one thing about Hearts, there's no nonsense defending. As soon as there's any doubt whatsoever, the ball's in Rose Ed.
Is it a Rose Ed?
I think we're in it.
Robbie Nielsen intercepts the Ian Murray throw. Growing all the time as a player, Robbie Nielsen. Hearts scarves in the air. Murray's throw. A stumble from Dobby. Free kick against McFarlane. Not an awful lot in that, I don't think.
No, there wasn't, but it's a good free kick, in a good area for Hibs. Reardon, I'm sure, will try and play this one in again.
Craig Gordon well aware Hibs throwing everything at this. It's Derek Reardon into the box. All it needed was a touch, but Brown and Doumbé couldn't make it.
Again, Rob, they're so unlucky there, Hibs. That's a decent free kick. Just needs the slightest of touches. That would have caused a real problem.
Again, it's great link-up play from Patrick Kisnorbo. He's having a big influence here. Played that crucial pass in the lead-up to goal number 2. And he is looking a very promising player for Hearts. Did a lot of good work in Bordeaux. And he's always there, it seems, as an outlet for a pass in the centre of midfield.
He's ideal playing that holding role in there, Rob. I know he's got forward very well as well today. But he's a natural athlete, very quick, good feet, reads the game well. It's an all-round very good game today.
The flick from De Vries. The clearance from Murdoch. Kevin McKenna's header. Now with Kevin Thompson. Scott Brown is slowly getting back up, having been knocked over by Kevin McKenna's challenge, which was, I think, fair enough. And nothing much going right here for Hibs now.
I tell you what, Rob, I think you give Hearts lots of credit because watch Hearts when they don't have the ball. They work so hard to close Hibs down. They're determined not to let them back in the match. And the tactics that Craig Levine's employing are working really well at the moment.
Dobby stopped by Maybury. Grant Brebner to Stephen Whittaker, the half-time substitute.
See it
Maybury turned the ball out.
You see it again there, Rob, sorry, that Maybury just working so hard to close down Reardon, not allowing the cross.
In from Whittaker, away from Webster. Knocked down from De Vries to Kirk. And Mark De Vries has stayed down, holding his face.
Certainly a challenge between the two big lads. Mark De Vries is a big lad. Takes a lot to knock him down. It's the battle between them there, Doumbé and Whittaker. It's that trailing leg, I think, caught him in the head.
It's not been a good week for dental problems at Tynecastle, has it?
Good week if you're a dentist.
Just about your last chance to vote for man of the match. 09011110861. I don't think Alan Norman or Gary Smith want it.
I don't think they're going to get it either.
That was a good flick from Andy Kirk, nipping it away from Murdoch, and Mark De Vries was almost in.
That was role reversal there. Kirk with the flick on to De Vries.
Free kick against Andy Kirk. Diving in on Matt Doumbé.
Bit of a change for Hearts now, Rob.
That's going to be Andy Kirk's last involvement with 15 minutes left. And Dennis Winus replaces him. The former Inverness Cali Thistle striker, former Aberdeen striker as well, with just one goal for Hearts so far. Smith's free kick, headed away by McFarlane. Brebner lofts it forward, onside, in from Murdoch. And Kevin McKenna slides in to tuck the ball behind.
Hearts looking for an offside there, but I don't think it was offside. Murdoch's certainly onside when the ball's played, yep. You can see the Alan Mabry in the left-back position playing him on. And this is a good ball across, or it was a good ball across there, but Kevin McKenna defended it well.
Here comes the corner. In from Derek Reardon. The punch from Craig Gordon. And Grant Brebner's effort spins wide. If you're going to punch it convincingly. And the 20-year-old Hearts keeper did.
This is a good punch. Lots of bodies round about the young goalkeeper. But he made his mind up, made a decision. And it's a good contact on the ball.
Chick, Hibs going to make a change?
Yeah, it's all win or bust now for Bob Williamson. He's going to bring on Tom McManus to strengthen things up front. I'm not quite sure at the sign who's coming off, Rob, but I promise you'll be the first to know.
Well, time is drifting away from Hibs here, with nearly 79 minutes gone. Two-0 Hearts. 2 own goals in the second capital derby of the season. Tom McManus taking instructions on the touchline from Bobby Williamson, about to replace Derek Reardon. And it's maybe the last throw of the dice with Dobby already on. It's going to be a whole new front two for Hibs, Dobby and McManus for the closing stages as Hibs mount or try to mount a salvage operation.
Tom McManus, one thing about him, he's got loads of enthusiasm. Young Reardon's played well today. McManus, a different type of player.
Just 2 goals this season for McManus, not been as productive as he would have liked, having top scored with 11 last year. Colin Murdoch gets his header back to Daniel Andersson. The Swedish goalkeeper beaten twice by his own teammates. That was Andy Webster, who really has slotted in very calmly and comfortably since skipper Stephen Presley went off. Murdoch under pressure, gives it away to Jean-Louis Valois. Getting away from Brebner. Now with Dennis Winus. Can't get past Matt Doumbé. He telegraphed that really to the French defender, but Doumbé certainly has been very impressive for Hibs in central defence.
Rob Doumbé and Colin Murdoch played Mark de Vries as well as anyone I've seen in the league. They've handled him really well, the threat of the big striker.
All the frustration that Hibs are feeling at the moment was demonstrated there by the Hibs skipper Ian Murray. And the advertising boards felt it.
Yeah, it's a sore one for Ian Murray. He's very much a Hibs supporter through and through. And when things don't go well, especially in a derby match, that's how frustrated you get.
Winus. That was a clever little flick, but was greeted with an offside flag. We've talked a lot about Andy Webster, but Kevin McKenna too has to take some of the credit, a lot of the credit. Quietly, professional, dominating aerially at the back, McKenna.
The one thing about Hearts, the foundation they build on is their back four. I think that's where Craig Levein comes into his own. There was no better central defender than Craig, and he's passing on that information really well to his team.
Doumbé lost it and won it back. Nearly 82 minutes gone. Murdoch for Dobby. And there it was the combination of Webster and McKenna. Yep, that just about sums it up at the moment for Hibs, with Brepner's pass unable to be picked up by Scott Brown, and the Hibs fans reflecting on two own goals. A freakish first for Alan Orman. Quality on the ball in from Nielsen, but that wasn't what Gary Smith is intending as he stretched out to prod the ball past his own goalkeeper. OGs for Orman and Smith, 2-0 Hearts.
Okay, Rob, football's often a game of confidence, and you can see that today. Hearts certainly working hard, maybe earned the breaks to get the 2 goals, but their confidence has gone so high because of that, whereas Hibs been behind. Very young team. The longer the game goes, the lower the confidence is becoming.
Alan Mabry doing good work in an attacking area. Stephen Whittaker turned the ball out of play. Hearts heading for a 6th straight win. Valois to the byline. Cleared by Murray. No way through for Tom McManus. Successes all around the pitch for Hearts, and Neil McFarlane among them, I think. Sometimes doesn't get an awful lot of the credit. Mark de Vries. Kevin Thompson and Gary Smith kept him out. Ian Murray. McManus, corner kick off Robbie Nielsen.
Good defending from Robbie Nielsen. Timed interception again, stopped the cross.
McManus in, looking for Dobby or Doumbé. That's another corner. Hibs will feel they need a goal back quickly, and then another. Thompson's corner. Scott Brown couldn't get it under control for the shot at goal. This is a fixture, of course, which in recent times has a history of late goals. Nothing can be taken for granted until that final whistle goes. Hibs need 2 late goals to take a point away from this.
You're right what you say, Rob, but Hearts, the way they're defended today, that man there, Bobby, he's tried everything. He's made his 3 changes, especially up front, tried to get variations to cause the Hearts backline more and more problems, but it really hasn't worked, and that's more to do with the way Hearts are organised and how well they've defended.
Well, some Hibs fans have written it off already. They're heading home. And they are conceding that their team is beaten here. 2-0 in the 86th minute. And Alan Orman's going to take a fair bit of cheering up tonight, I think, after the own goal, the booking, and the half-time substitution. Onside, Mark de Vries. That's great defending. Not for the first time in the match. Matt Doumbé made up a ferocious amount of ground there to deny de Vries the shot at goal.
I tell you, Rob, Mark de Vries is not slow. He's quick, he's got a start in Doumbé, but watch this pace, watch the recovery.
Well, you can watch it later, okay?
We nearly watched it. It was great defending.
Webster to Nielsen. That's beyond de Vries. And this time Gary Smith sends it in the right direction. No better way for Hearts to prepare for such a massive European match as coming their way on Thursday night than a win in the Edinburgh Derby. They're heading that way. I wonder, though, and we'll maybe find out afterwards, at what price. Stephen Presley, with his leg covered in ice, a thigh injury, which could prove a problem for him in the build-up to the Bordeaux match. Alan Mabry injured his back. And Craig Levein will hope both are available to him for such a big match in the UEFA Cup. Two minutes will be added, and 2.5 left of regulation time. Just 22, Patrick Kisnorbo, Australian under-23 international. Dave McPherson, former Hearts player, tipped off Craig Levein that he might be available, and well, he does a turn for the team in lots of positions, Sandy.
Yeah, I think he's been excellent today. Not for the first time, he's played well for Hearts, but he's man back at Scotland man of the match today. A lot of hard, solid work going unseen, but very, very effective and very important to Hearts midfield.
And of course played a big part in the second Hearts goal with a clever pass out wide to Robbie Nielsen before the fullback played in the ball, which was diverted into his own net by Gary Smith. Well, he's happy, he's not. Steam coming out of his ears and his mouth, I think, Ian Murray. It's not gone Hibs' way here. Murray hasn't given up. Dobby's pass, well seen by Mark de Vries. The striker doing good work all around the pitch. Neil McFarlane. Good play from Paul Hartley. The nutmeg on Kevin Thompson. It's all smiles.
That's what you call confidence. He's such a talented player, Paul Hartley. Strong there to win the battle, wins the free kick. The Hearts fans will love that.
I don't think his former team appreciated it too much. Another Hearts substitution. Jean-Louis Valois off. And it's going to be another youngster on the pitch. 19-year-old Joe Hamill. I think I'm right saying he featured in the first derby of the season.
He did,
so
yep. Didn't do too badly that day. Valois out injured at that point in time.
It was 2 minutes, stoppage time now 3. And we've played exactly 90. That's a foul by Brown on Nielsen. And you can see in the faces of the Hibs players what losing the Edinburgh derby means. We all know about winning it, but you can see how badly Hibs are taking this.
I've certainly worked hard today, no more than young Scott Brown there. But the Hibs players really at this moment, they've got to be really careful. Don't get frustrated, don't get a second yellow card or a silly red card.
Dumbe's header. Thompson's clearance, flicked on by McManus. Back it comes from Webster. Murdoch for Dobby. And again, well placed Webster. Joe Hamels, first touch. Throw in off McManus. The Hearts supporters looking forward to a couple of months of bragging and gloating and teasing and taunting. That's what winning the derby entitles you to, until the next one. Seconds already added to the 90 minutes, and another 90 seconds to come. That's all that's between Hearts and the derby win.
Last chance to protect the Hibs now. We've got to get something from this corner. We're going to try and take anything from this. Again, every Hearts player back inside the 18-yard box.
7 in the box for Hibs. McManus plays it in. Scott Brown's effort flies very high. And I think that was last chance saloon, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was, but if you watch this, Patrick Snorbo closes Brown down really quickly, gets to him, doesn't allow him time to get the shot on target. I'm sure if it'd been on target, Snorbo would have blocked it.
And I believe he was your man of the match.
Correct.
No joy for Bobby Williamson. He had his first derby win in August at Easter Road, but his team well beaten here. Maybury finds Dennis Wyness. Back from Brown to Dumbe. That's a free kick for Hibs. It's almost finished. Full time at Tynecastle. Hearts have won the second Edinburgh derby of the season. It's their 6th straight win, the Tynecastle team. It's now a 10-point gap between the Edinburgh rivals. Gary Smith scored own goal number 2. Alan Orman scored own goal number 1 in the first half. 2 freakish goals. It's part 1 of a double-header, a massive double-header for these Hearts supporters. They will hope that part 2 is as successful as this has been. Craig Levine's team, winners of the Edinburgh derby, and they hope they're winners again in the UEFA Cup on Thursday night when Bordeaux are the visitors. Orman's own goal in the first half, Smith's own goal in the second half, and from that point onwards, Hearts were very much in control. They kept what they had, which was the advantage. There was no way back for Hibs, and Hearts have come out on top. 2-0.
And that smile on Craig Levine's face tells you just exactly what it means to win an Edinburgh derby. 2-0 it finishes, 2 on goals admittedly, but Hearts' 4th win in their last 6 Edinburgh derbies. They've still lost just once at Tynecastle this season. That was to Rangers. And they'll go into that big UEFA Cup tie on Thursday night in good heart. They'd settle for the same scoreline, that's for sure. And of course also live here on BBC Scotland on Thursday night. Hearts against Bordeaux for a place in the 3rd round of the UEFA Cup. If they make it, it will be their best European performance since 1989. 2-0 it finishes. And the man of the match adjudged to be Patrick Snorbo, the young Australian who's really made an impact since coming to Tynecastle. And he is with Chick Young.
If you enjoyed that?
Yeah, it was excellent. My first, derby. It was excellent. I played a different role today. The gaffer asked me, but it was good. Enjoyed it a lot, and it was good to get the 3 points.
There was a lot of pace in that game, wasn't there?
You can expect it in a derby. It's always going to be a bit more than an average game. As I said, but it was good to get the 3 points.
Had you any idea what happened at the first goal?
No, I didn't. I flicked it in the, like root off a few people, and I didn't claim the goal, so I think it was a no goal anyway. So a goal's a goal.
We can maybe have a look at it actually, Paddy, just to solve. The corner was whipped in by Paul Hartley, and then it was chaos in there, wasn't it, after that? I mean, it came off, eventually came off the defender, off Alan Norman and into the net. I know that's the first time.
Yeah, first of all, so I thought I got a kick to it, but I don't think I did get a touch to it, but it was good to get the goal, any goal's a goal.
Yeah, what about the whole overall performance of Hearts? It gives you a great boost ahead of the game on Thursday night.
Yeah, it was good. The boys going in with confidence, especially for Thursday night, but it's good to get a win under the belt, and hopefully we can carry that win into Thursday's game.
Well, I think we've been joined by the manager actually, who I'm sure will want to congratulate Patrick. I've just got the champagne for him, Craig, but he played well, didn't he?
Yeah, the good thing is he doesn't drink and he'll probably give it to me. No, I had a magnificent game today. He's played in both full-back positions, centre-back and now centre midfield, and he's excelled in every position, and the strikers better watch out.
Now that he's told us, of course, that he doesn't drink, I'll be keeping the champagne myself, but presumably you want to keep it a champagne occasion for you on Thursday night.
Well, yeah, and this stood on its own, this game. I mean, obviously we'll get confidence from it, but this game was vitally important for league points, and every player worked their socks off today. And I think the biggest thing that to show our supporters that were hurt after the last derby match. We did that, we got the deserved victory, and now we can really focus on Thursday night.
It wasn't all good news. What about Stephen Presley?
Well, I think the number of games have just caught up on him, to be honest. But he's such an important player, I can't really leave him out on any occasions. And this was such an important game. So he's got a thigh strain or tear, I'm not sure yet. But whatever way, he'll certainly be out on Thursday.
It looked a bit of a problem with Alan Maybury as well. Just before half-time, it seemed his bottom of his spine. I know he carried on, but is there a worry over him?
Yeah, you know as much about the body as you do about football, no?
Well, wasn't he spinning? Tell me, was anywhere near?
No, yeah, I think it's the side of top side of his leg, but he's I bet your girlfriend loves you.
Moving swiftly, of course she does, but moving swiftly back to the football, is there a concern for him?
I don't know, to be honest with you. He's the type of guy who'll play on regardless, and this might be something that hurts him tomorrow, but we'll just have to take stock within the next 40 hours and see where we go.
I wish you all the very best for Thursday night. Bottle of champagne, I'm sure you'd like to give it to Patrick, who performed so well tonight. Well done, guys. Cheers, and I'm going for some medical education.
2-0 it finishes then, Hearts. Interesting watching the emails going through there, but before we reflect on those, let's congratulate our man of the match winners. It was Patrick Cusnorbo, Michael Smith from Aberdeen, Scott Gowers from Aberdeen and David Brown from Linlithgow are our 3 Bank of Scotland prize winners. Well done to them. Don't quite understand the comment about the lack of fight and desire in the Hibs team, although the league table certainly doesn't make happy reading for Hibs fans. They remain in 8th place. Hearts now 7 points clear of Motherwell in 3rd, and as I say, they've lost just that one home match. There was plenty of fight and desire, surely, Gordon. It was perhaps quality football we were short of.
Yeah, I thought that was one aspect that was there. I didn't think you could fault Hibs for that, but I just thought they just didn't. In the second half especially, just not creative enough, didn't really get at Hearts at all. We thought without Presley, Hearts might struggle, but that didn't happen. They showed themselves up, even with Webster there, and they did most of the pressing. And I just thought that, I thought Hibs defended pretty well. I think both teams defended well, and I think that was one of the reasons we didn't get many chances. But certainly I don't think they lacked the desire, but as a creative side, they really struggled, and nobody was taking, I would say, control of that midfield and producing chances. You expect Grant Brebner to do that, but he had a quiet game today.
Yeah, so did Ian Murray.
Very quiet game, yes. I expected more from him.
Players that have got quality. Yeah. And on the Hearts side, I mean, Mark De Vries looked very sluggish to me. Scott didn't seem as sharp as we used to.
Surprisingly, he did. I mean, it wasn't a football spectacle at all. I mean, you expect De Vries to be sharper than he was at times, but I think that added to the fact there wasn't any football being played at all, really, at times through the game. But I mean, I think I felt sorry for the Hibs team, because they had what I've had as well against Hearts, which is a frustrating afternoon. You think you get past one player, but there's somebody else there. They're compact, they're very well organised, and they're strong, so they're a difficult team to beat.
Yeah, and if you score a couple of own goals, then it makes life even harder, doesn't it? And sadly, that was Hibs' fate today. The first of them, totally bizarre. Brebner misses it, and it comes off a couple of knees before it ends up in the back of the net. There's not a lot you can do about this, Gordon, really, is there?
Patrick Cusnorbo said he got a flick on it. Well, it must have been the very merest of flicks. I didn't see him touch it. I thought they both missed it, the near post, to be honest with you. That's a fluke. Yeah. I mean, there's not much you can say about that. Hibs didn't deserve to lose a goal like this. But the second goal is not a fluke, because I think this comes from a great ball in from Robbie Nielsen. That's where you want the ball delivered, that area between the defence and between the goalkeeper. The zone of uncertainty, it's always called, and when you analyse it.
And if Smith misses it, De Vries scores, doesn't
exactly.
he?
That's a point.
That's exactly right.
Gary Smith has been known to score 1 or 2 own goals in his time, but it's because he gets himself in that position where he does the last gasp tackle. And if he doesn't make it, then you know that De Vries is going to be there anyway. So
yeah. That deserved to be a goal, because I say the quality of the cross. Robbie Nielsen's ball in was great, and it does make it hard for defenders, and they've got to do something in those circumstances. And Gary Smith as Scott was just saying, that he has knocked 1 or 2 in like that in his time, hasn't he?
Yes, but if he wasn't there, then he gets stick for letting De Vries knock it in at the near post, doesn't he?
He has to try it.
Yeah. So Bordeaux on Thursday night, and Hearts will go into it pretty confident, I would imagine, but they'll worry about Big Elvis.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, they didn't miss him, to be honest today. They were still strong at the back, well organised, as I said already. But you'll want him in the team, because I played against him a couple of weeks ago and he was so loud during the game. I mean, I had earache just by listening to him talking to his defenders, pushing on, organising all the way through the game. So he will be missed if he's not playing.
Yeah, 3 huge matches for Scottish clubs in midweek, and after the disappointment of last Wednesday, we could do with some good news from Celtic, Bayern, Stuttgart Rangers and Hearts Bordeaux.
Yeah, that's right. We definitely need that, and all 3 teams are capable of getting a result. I think that Rangers have got the hardest game of the 3, although you think Celtic, Bayern, is that not a hard game? But I think Rangers been away from home, and the circumstances they've got just now with injuries and so forth, I think it's the hardest game. But I really do hope Hearts go through. It'd be great for our football to get somebody outside the old firm into European football beyond the Christmas.
Yes.
And when's that? I can't remember when the last time that happened. But it'd be great to get Hearts through. And they didn't play particularly well today, but I thought they dominated the second half. I think they definitely deserved to win that game, even though they got 2 own goals.
And it will be a very different kind of game on Thursday night, obviously. The French will not play the way Hibs played today, naturally. There might be more room to play. The better quality players on the Hearts side might get more time in the ball.
It's actually a difficult one for Craig Levein to call. Tactically, what do? I mean, you've got an away lead, and Bordeaux obviously are a good side. You try and stop them playing. So do you open out and try and score more goals and leave yourself vulnerable? That's the last thing you want to do. Maybe the Hearts fans will need to be educated into thinking we're going to have to defend here at home, because
that was Bertie Vought's problem last Wednesday night, wasn't it? 1-0 up from the first leg.
Yeah.
What do you do in the second leg? Yeah. Not dwell too long on that. Would you hold out much hope for Rangers and Stuttgart? That's a tough one, Scott, obviously.
I think that's a much tougher one than the Celtic game. I mean, just briefly on Celtic, it's going to be unusual for to play a German club, and for the German club to have to worry about the physical prowess of the Celtic team, because they are a big, strong team. They're quite like a lot of the German teams in the past. But for Rangers, it's a really tough game, and they're not firing on all cylinders. So
we wish them well. We wish them all well. Obviously, we're running out of time. Let me give you a quick update on the one Premiership match taking place this afternoon. It's still goalless at White Hart Lane. Spurs 0, Aston Villa 0. We, of course, are back on Thursday with that match at Tynecastle. It's Hearts against Bordeaux, the UEFA Cup second round, second leg. We're on BBC 2 at 7:30. Our radio colleagues on 15 minutes earlier. Incidentally, the first BBC Sport Scotland Fans Forum is pre-match next Sunday. We've got the Hibs Rangers game at Easter Road, but the Fans Forum's between 1:30 and 2. If you're a Hibby and you've got something you want to talk about, then why don't you go along? All you have to do is give Hibs a call. Don't call us, call Hibs 0131656 7072. Hearts won the Edinburgh Derby today, though. Bye from us all.